Okay, so Wavedash 18. We've had a lot of these recently, so it's kind of hard for me to keep track of the number. It's like 18, that's right.
Yeah. I keep seeing you change the name of the private Discord chat. I
was like,
the number, like
17 or 18. But yeah, we're on 18 now. We had one just like a few days ago. So yeah, like we're just kind of doing these a lot recently. But today we're gonna talk about female characters in fighting games. And I can already hear the cave trolls crawling out with their picks. But yeah, so today I'm really glad to have Fergus.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Wonderful. And Cuddle.
Hi everyone.
Awesome. And Celina.
Hello everyone.
Wonderful. And I guess one of the reasons we're talking about this today is because, well, we've talked about this a bunch of times on this podcast about how women are represented in fighting games, in Tekken, and I've always gone off like, yeah, there should be more diversity, blah, blah, blah. So this time, let's actually talk to some women about the issue, and let's see if they feel the same way. So I guess the first question I just want to quickly throw out there is, who is your favorite female character in any fighting game, not just Tekken, and why?
Go
for it.
Well, if we just say fighting games, then it would be Asuka for me, of course. Like,
right,
like
no surprises.
She's a character, right? She's a character I'm associated with. She's a character I used in tournaments for 8 years, and casually before that, even longer since the game came out. If we'd say non-fighting games, I would just say like Tifa Lockhart, easy. Like,
yeah. Well, she has been in a fighting game like
Yes, actually, no, yeah. Egrius, the God of the Ring, or something like that.
How do you pronounce that?
Egrius? I suppose my answer was actually still relevant. If we include that fighting games, then it would be Tifa then. And she had this Dissidia as well. That was a Final Fantasy fighting game.
Oh yeah, of course, Dissidia.
So
that game is actually.
So I guess Tifa.
It got like Dissidia NT got a really bad rap when it came out on consoles because the netcode wasn't designed for consoles. They literally just ported over the arcade version with the arcade netcode, which is designed to be played exclusively in Japanese arcades onto PS4s in America, and everyone hated it. But that game is actually really fun and deep if you play with a proper team of 3 people and you coordinate and you communicate.
I think the issue was also like you said, it was like 3 against 3, so it was really hard to find 6 people to play a game. Like and of course, when you have 6 people in a game, you have a whole lot of issues. Like it's going to be a bit worse than you would have with 1-on-1, whatever.
For sure.
But anyway, my answer, Tifa. If not that, then Asuka, and that's my answer.
Wonderful. Celina, Cuddle, who's your favorite?
My favorite is Cammy, because I main her in Street Fighter V, and the reason I like her is kind of same as I like King. They don't talk too much. Like they Cammy is kind of like the quiet, or at least that's the impression I get. And King, he doesn't talk at all to begin with. So So I just seem to like those kind of characters more. So that's why.
Cool. Cuddle. I think I kind of know what you're gonna say here, but
no, I don't think you do though, because you think I'd say Alisa.
Yeah.
Look, I love Alisa, but the thing is, like, before I even picked up Alisa, like, I was like really big into Soul Calibur, and Sophitia is like actually one of my favorite fighting game characters of all time. Her movement, that angel step is a beast. That the fact that I can use a staff to punish everything and then get a just frame off of it. I love that character. What she stands for is amazing. I love when she speaks.
I love her.
That is that woman. And I just I'm a really big fan of her stages as well. I think they just symbolize her
the Colosseums and whatnot.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. And I think it represents her very, very well.
Yeah.
She is a goddess. Like every single aspect of her. And I love that character so much. That would have been my main if I would have played that dang Soul Calibur 6.
Soul Calibur 6 is really fun. Play it. Play it.
It's hard. It's weird for me. I can't really get in those mechanics, those new mechanics. Wow. I just got used to rage arts and rage drives. Now you ask me to do that reversal critical thing.
No, I love her. So she's my favorite Soul Calibur character as well. Like I think, yeah, like I said, what she stands for, like she fights for her children. She goes on this journey to protect them and all that. I love everything about that. I love everything about that, and like she's simplistic to play as well and all that. But like the lore, the design of the characters, like she's beautiful. The whole Greek aesthetic around her, like is perfect, honestly.
So how did you feel that? How did you feel about Soul Calibur 5 when they killed her and then introduced her children as the playable characters?
I was not a fan of that. That was not, but because that was the only representation of her I had, I ended up using Pyrrha. I liked Pyrrha Omega more. I didn't like Patroclus, but I think I really liked Cassandra as well, by the way. Like her beautiful like opposites of each other, similar styles, but Cassandra I felt was way more rush down heavy, way more like mix of options. Like, you could really get in there. But very, very different. I love how they're so separate, but like, the similarities in there.
Yeah, they're sisters, like, they're going to be similar in appearances, but like you said, personality-wise, they're so different. Even playstyle-wise, they're so different as well.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. Oh my gosh, she was so good for
They have this like sisterly bonds with each other. Cassandra goes after Sophia to protect her, but Sophia is kind of their own thing to protect her kids. So it's like a whole family looking out for each other kind of thing. It was really nice. I think it was a really nice story, and I think that's something that Tekken lacks. Like, there's so much depth to these characters in Soul Calibur, but I know we'll go into that in a different stage or podcast.
No, I definitely want to have an entire podcast dedicated to like Tekken lore and story, and because like we talked about this a bit before going live today, but like I feel like Tekken 2, 3, 4, like when it comes to storyline in fighting games, those games are kind of unmatched, unparalleled, and it was a huge part of their appeal, and they've just stopped giving a shit since then, and it's that's a really big factor, I think, in why like a more casual audience is dropping off Tekken. I really think they need to readjust their priorities on that, and I think at this point, I'd love to see like a time skip for Tekken 8, but let's not turn this into a storyline or a Tekken 8 podcast. There's so much to talk about. So, Fergus, you said you really admire Sophia and Cassandra, and I guess the next question is for you exclusively, actually. Why do you almost exclusively play female characters? Because you're kind of known as the waifu guy, right? So
yeah, I get like kind of really awkward with this question because it feels like I'm pushing agenda or something, but I think it is like a gay thing because like I'm not gonna say everyone is this like this, right? But I think it's a really big track record. Like gay people, gay men tend to play female characters.
Anna especially. Anna is like almost a 1-to-1 ratio.
They love Xiaoyu.
Yeah.
Xiaoyu is
right. Yeah, like Anna, like I don't want to generalize, but I think I kind of justify what I'm saying. But yeah, I think it is just a gay thing to not exclusively play females, but like, mainly play females. But I think like it is like these like promiscuous, confident women, like like Anna, like you said, or Soul Calibur Ivy, or Street Fighter Poison. These kind of characters, like promiscuous, confident, sexy, I guess. Like, but yeah, no, I think I'm just in that category. I'm just another statistic almost. But yeah, that's my answer really.
Yeah, I get the sense that it's sort of indefined for you, but there's like this sort of, I get it though. It's hard to put in words why you pick a character.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know. It's just a gay thing. That's what I say.
Oh, cool. Actually, somebody just asked me what's my favorite female character in a fighting game. It's probably Hisako from Killer Instinct.
The ghost lady.
The ghost lady. She's so cool and terrifying. And my favorite female characters in any fighting game are actually from Killer Instinct because I feel they're like they're warriors, but at the same time they're very feminine as well. And I think they just tick all the boxes for me. That they're all so cool. So when I think of like, which game really nailed it? Killer Instinct. I always harp on about Killer Instinct, but yeah, he's not cool. Okay, so I guess we're going to talk a little bit about like the importance of having a character that represents you. Like on that topic of what we were just discussing with Fergus. And the question is, what made you pick your main? Like, what is that key ingredient for everyone?
Well, for me, anyway, it was like when as a kid, I started up Tekken 5. The sparking intro played and show Asuka on top of the radio tower. She jumps off with her bike, saves the cat. I was like, okay, that's kind of
cool. You fell in love.
Yeah, almost in a way, yes. So I was like, okay, I'll pick this character first, and I'll do a story mode. And then it was her like beating up gang members. She was like dragging them. It was that picture. It's my favorite Tekken picture, like artwork. It was her like holding the gang members and dragging them along the floor and throwing them into a pile or whatever. So, and then it continued on. She's like, oh, she came home. Her dojo was trashed. Her father was beaten up. And then she was like, oh, who did this? She teams up with Lei, enters the King of Iron Fist tournament to find out who did this to her father. And then I just thought like that was like just a story of vengeance. It's like something like Kill Bill or Lady Snowbloods, that kind of vibe, right? So I really liked that. And then she finds Fang. She's still kind of goofy. I like Goofy in the character as well. So she's a little bit goofy
sense
too.
of humor.
Yeah, and she's like the accent as well, like the Osaka accent, especially when she talked to Fang in a particular scene. Yeah. And then she was talking to Fang, and you could really sense it. You could really feel like Fang is like, oh, the weak deserves to die. And she's like, yeah, well, you're going to be weak when I'm finished with you or whatever. She says something like that. And I was like, that is sick. So that's why I played the character. I thought she was super, super cool. And then Tekken 6 onwards happened.
Yeah, what have they done to that storyline? Like the whole Fang thing's just gone, and it's just like this really like pithy rivalry with Lili. Again, we were discussing this before. Another character that's just such wasted potential.
For me, she was the worst that came to character potential. She was the worst that suffered. But it was the thing where but they are self-aware though. In Tekken 7 ending, the Asuka's ending in Tekken 7, Lili goes on, oh, you could have been involved in the Mishima bloodline story, but now you're here with me. Like, they're aware that they're butchering the character, and that just when I saw that ending for the first time, I was like, so she's not going to be she's not going to go anywhere, right? Because they know what they're doing to the character, so they're like accepting it and they're making fun of him. Like, okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. They did that to so many characters. I mean, like so many characters that used to be serious and have legitimate storylines, like Paul, Law. Like I miss when these characters were characters and not just like goofy one-off jokes. It's anyway. Well, another topic for another time. Cuddle. Yeah. Why do you main Alisa?
Honestly, I mean, I picked her up in Tekken 6, like when that's when she was revealed. She was new, and I was playing Xiaoyu at the time. She's really new. Oh, sorry, she's not really. I played Xiaoyu for a long time, and I was looking for like a bit of a challenge. Like, okay, who's the next character I could pick up? Because I knew I wanted one, and I saw Alisa. And I was like, oh my God, wow. I'm like, she looks very like kind when you approach her. But then I was like, oh my God, she's got chainsaws. She's a robot. And I was like, this is just so cool. She was really different than Xiaoyu. And I like if I'm going to play two characters, they have to be different. And at the time, I didn't really think about how much that helped me. But using Alisa, because aesthetically, she was gorgeous. I love the design of the outfit, the way that she moved. The animations were super unique. The chainsaws was really cool too. Movement, I'm all about it. So I took it as a challenge. I really am like, okay, Xiaoyu has this massive move list, right? Alisa's move list was like 70 like moves, and it was really like small. She was so like, that move list was limited. Like, so you have to be creative. And I'm like, okay, let me take this as a challenge. Let me use somebody with a smaller move list, like a really like watered down move list. And I really found a lot of creative solutions to like different, types of offense and stuff with her. So I became creative with her. It took me a very long time. Because it took like, I did not understand that character fully for like months, but I really stuck with her. And I really ended up finding that like, I didn't know now I'd be like a top Alisa player. I didn't think it was going to be like this because I didn't think I was going to get good with her at all, ever. That's the funny part. I didn't think I was going to be good with the character. And then I stuck with it because I found my own flow with her. So yeah, I like that she's sweet, but she's ready to kill. She's ready to demolish, but she's still a very kind character. And that's the kind of person I am too. So I connected with her.
I love that duality to the character. I think that's I think Alisa has a lot of untapped potential as a character in that respect. Because if you think about her backstory, I mean, just to go into the lore a bit, Alisa used to be a a human, like a flesh and blood human, and then she died of some kind of undefined disease. And in his heartbreak, Dr. Boskonovich makes a robot in her image, a killer death robot with chainsaws, but a robot nonetheless. And like that's a really kind of, it's been done a bunch in a bunch of animes and mangas and, well, not really books, more like sci-fi kind of stuff, but that's a really cool idea. And I wish they played it up a bit more. Like the central heartbreak of this character, the duality between, like, when she's in normal mode, she has this great movement. She dances around the screen quite literally. I'd love to see more ballet incorporated moves in her normal mode. And I wish they played up that duality more. Like when she gets the chainsaws out, I wish she was like terrifying.
Isn't she though?
Even more terrifying, like just like screeching, like, you know, oil dripping out of her mouth, that kind of craziness, you know, like a real bipolar kind of character. Maybe I'm just getting ahead of myself. This is pure fan fiction.
That's what you're saying. So that's definitely that's Tira. That's what that sounds like, because that gloomy jolly thing. That's nuts. But the damage comes in that gloomy.
And I wish she spoke Russian. I wish she spoke, at least in one of her forms.
Cool.
Like, somebody should speak Russian. Russian's a beautiful language. I mean, but yeah. So Celina, why do you? Well, it doesn't have to be King. Like, you talked a bit about Cammy and King, but I guess King. Why do you main King?
Well, I first started Tekken. I think it was somewhere near October last year, and I walked into a local over here in Japan, which is called Fighting Tuesday, and they have a Tekken lesson for beginners, and they actually stream that as well. And we have pro players teaching new people. And when you sign up, I don't, like I said, I thought that I wanted to learn King because I started Tekken from Tekken 3, and like I said, I played that game when I was a child, and I wasn't serious about it at all, just mashing buttons and all that. And I wanted to learn seriously, and when I had a choice out of all those characters, King seemed appealing to me. Like I said, he doesn't talk, all he does is growl. And I wrote King on the sign-up sheet. And when the pro player saw that, he was kind of hesitant. He gave me a very awkward look because he knows that I'm not into, like, I'm a beginner in fighting games in general. And he was surprised the fact that I chose King. And he was he had a little doubt in his face. And when I said, well, I mean, if King's a little too much, I can choose Xiaoyu as well. And he immediately said, oh, go for Xiaoyu. Let's go with Xiaoyu. And he was more up to teaching me Xiaoyu. And that kind of that kind of taunted me. And I said, no, let's go with King. Okay. No, we're not playing Xiaoyu. Let's go with King. And so the whole goal of the stream was for me to learn at least one combo. And the stream, I think it ended around 11 p.m., which is pretty late. And I was very, very nervous because, first off, I started off fighting games from Street Fighter V, and it's just so different. Tekken and Street Fighter V is very different. And the fact that I have to learn there's a right punch, there's a left punch, and like there's a right and a left, and the number notation, like he tells me number notations, but then quickly realizes that I don't understand any of that. I have no idea what number notations are. I play on pad, by the way, so I just want him to tell me, is it the X button or is it the circle button? I'm just very confused, and I had to pressure myself because it was on stream and people were watching and people were expecting me to do this combo at least once before the stream is over. And I had to concentrate a lot. And in the end of the stream, I was able to do it about 3 times in a row. And I was very happy about it. And it was very satisfying for me too. And from that day on, I started streaming Tekken on my personal channel. And I have chat helping me out with teaching me new combos, teaching me the fundamentals, and it's very rewarding. And like King is very rewarding to me. Like I never thought that I could actually use that character decently. So the fact that I'm actually kind of seeing my progress is like very satisfying, and that's why I'm still with him right now till this day.
Yeah. King's a hard character to use. Like, not like up there, but he's definitely like an solid intermediate level character.
Got some execution stuff too.
Oh yeah.
Very unique. I think it's really cool you use them. Like, because I don't think a lot of people use King. But when you do, they're a diehard specialist, which is definitely what you are. So it's so cool seeing how everybody plays him too, because everybody plays him so differently.
Oh yeah, a lot of room for expression with that character. Yeah,
really fun to watch.
For sure. I've always liked King. I've always loved his huge, diverse move sets and like all the ways you can play him. Do you ever get like that question like, oh wow, you play King, you play a male character, and is that question annoying for you?
I do get that a lot. Not about male characters specifically, but a female playing King. It is true that there are not many. Well, at least around me, I don't find any female players who choose King. There is one Armor King player, however, but other from her, I don't know anyone else, and I do get that a lot. And at first, I just wasn't. I didn't really understand what they like. What part that amused them.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just did not understand, because like even in Street Fighter 5, a lot of girls main Zangief. Yeah. Like it's I don't think it's I did not like connect it with gender to begin with. So it was just not annoying, but like it was just very odd to me. And I still get that till this day. And I'm kind of just used to it now at this point. I just tell the same thing. This is why I chose King, and this is why I decided to stay with him.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. It's like if you're a man and if you play like a female character, no one really bats an eyelid. But the inverse is generally like, oh, that's kind of interesting. But I guess that might be due to like the scarcity of female players in general in the FGC. So it's just a super focus. Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to bring up one thing about Alisa. I just want to rewind back to Alisa, because when I first saw that character, I thought, this character, I hate this character because she's so annoying. She's such anime bullshit. But what really endeared her to me is I think her intro quote is "Yoroshiku onegai shimasu, shinde kudasai," right?
And it is so bad. It's so good.
It's great because it's like it's a super polite, like it's not shine kudasai, it's shinde kudasai. It's like a super polite way of saying, nice to meet you. Please die.
Please die.
I love that. Look, I gotta say, when she says that, I'm like, like politely, I'm gonna kill you. Yeah. And that's it. And that's, oh man, I connect so much with that character. Not the I'm gonna kill you thing, but the competitive aspect of who I am really connects really well with that character. So I feel like she, you're sweet, but at the end of the day, it's go time. And I'm here to take you out.
Yeah, I love the quote where she says that was fun, and then her head falls off. It's like it stays true to her robot.
It's a really self-aware character, and I think when people are like, oh, she's annoying, she's anime, I think you're kind of missing the point, because she's supposed to be that on the surface, and I think Chloe does that as well.
Yes.
That's the whole point of Chloe, that she's like an idol on the surface, but like she's actually just really, really assertive and kind of mean, actually.
I love that. Yes. Her ending was one of my favorites. I wish they brought that into her intro.
Her ending is good, yes.
Yeah. Or maybe her outros, Maybe her outros, she's like, oh, finally, we're done here, or something like that, I want to see that more.
In her moveset. I wish she kicked you in the teeth when you were down, or something like that, I didn't really like Chloe until I saw that ending, and I was like, okay, I get this character now. Because it's suddenly, it goes from just being fan service to something that's keenly self-aware. So yeah. And just to the same question, just to bring it to myself, which characters do I main? The characters I pick in fighting games are really predictable. Like, I always go for the cool looking character, usually with slicked back hair. So I play Steve in Tekken, Soul Calibur. You want to guess who I play?
Siegfried? No.
Maxi.
I say Maxi, right? In Third Strike. I play Ken. In Street Fighter V, I play Nash or Vega. They're all like pretty stylish, cool-looking guys, and it's because like fighting games are to an extent. They're like that's Slayer and Guilty Gear. You know, like fighting games to an extent are kind of like wish fulfillment, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, that character's really cool. I kind of want to be like that character.
It's actually funny about Maxi. Then there's certain clashes in Soul Calibur where the character actually comments on Maxi's slicks back hair.
Yeah. They do, don't they?
They actually comment on Maxi's hair during the reversal age clash. So that there you go. Yeah,
that. Taki has the funniest one, where she's like, "What does she say? Help me, Soul Calibur 6 fans." Taki says something like, "How much time did you spend on your hair?" or something. But it's much funnier than that. I butchered it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you know, the point is what I'm trying to get is that like if you don't find a character that kind of bonds with you and represents you and gels with you, I think you're missing out on potential players. Like I saw this really good YouTube video by this channel called Sugar Punch something. Sorry if I'm getting the name wrong, but basically they did this really good video on why Bob is a successful character. Because generally like fat people in fighting games are portrayed as slovenly, lazy, underhanded. Like Rufus from Street Fighter 4, is the perfect example. He's just a complete pig. But then you have Bob, who's like confident, comfortable in his own skin.
So assured.
Yeah, like a really positive role model. It's like, yeah, like, you know, that's cool. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Bob mechanically, his play style. I think it's just kind of like a whatever Mishima. But I really like what he represents. So I guess the point of this discussion is like, I've always banged on about this. And I think Tekken's actually pretty good about this when it comes to fighting games. But a lot of Japanese fighting games, particularly, I feel like women have this very narrow band of what is acceptable. And it's indicative of like wider social problems in Japan. But I do think it's important to have if you want to have more players play your game, basically, I think it's important to have a broader diversity. Because like if Tekken didn't have Steve, or Soul Calibur didn't have Maxi, or Guilty Gear didn't have Slayer or Nash, I probably wouldn't be as interested. Right? And I'm sure the same with you if like King or Asuka or Alisa wasn't there. I mean, I'd pick someone else, but like again, like the character that's supposed to that I feel in tune with is not there, right? So yeah, I guess going on that point, I want to ask all of you, what are your general thoughts on how women are portrayed in fighting games?
Well,
like
I know
Street Fighter, Soul Calibur, Dead or Alive, Arcana Hearts, Mortal Kombat, the whole thing. Like, and then we'll focus on Tekken later.
They can never. I've noticed that the women in fighting games, they can never be overweight. I noticed that none of them are, or even a little thicker. There's like usually this type of face design that they have. It's very like thin features, like the nose is very thin, the lips are kind of thin. The faces are very like thin, like heart shape, but they're thin. I also noticed like I mean, personally, I kind of see like a lack of diversity in some of the like the type, like the skin colors of the women. I'd like to kind of see more like black or like Hispanic, you know, just to get more variety in there, because representation does matter, because you know, there are women that are my color that play the game as well. Or if you do have a black person in there, they don't always have to be like one type of black person. Right. Like for black women, for example, we talked about this earlier, Jackie in Mortal Kombat. I really like how she looks, because like you know, that looks like they used the actual model of a black woman, like the face, to get how she looks. They didn't just kind of make her kind of dark, but then give her like these really thin features, like thin like nose, and like, you know, because not everybody has that. I don't think Master Raven is a bad portrayal of a black woman. I just wish there were different types of black that they would show more in Japanese games, because they always kind of give us this like look where we have braids or cornrows, and there's tons of different types of black. Right. So I would just like to see that a little bit more. Or yeah, I think women are usually just, like I said, they're just, you know, there's that the things I described were kind of that like little box that were put in fighting games, but I would like them to kind of go outside of it. Older women, women with maybe some like bruises, some marks, some scars. Different races would be really nice. Different hairstyles. We don't always have to be like these demure women. We can be gruff as well, which I've noticed that like shooters do. I forgot the shooter, but they have women that look really different. Maybe they have a gap between their teeth, but they look different.
Yeah.
That's all. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
No, I totally understand what you're saying on everything there. Yeah. Celina, Fergus.
Well, like,
if you want to go on saying, go on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just like Cuddle said, like a lot of in Japan, like having like a very youthful doll-like face is like I believe it's like the ideal way of how a girl or a female should look like. And even like I've noticed in Street Fighter 5 as well, but a lot of like Mika, she's really big, and as her body is like really big, but her face, she has like a childlike face, like a really dolly look. So it does kind of look odd for me. Like the body does not match her face, and so I just think it comes from the ideal girl that the Japanese society has, and I'm totally fine with having pretty girls, cute girls in fighting games, but like Cuddle said, I would like to see more different types of female characters, like you said, like an old lady fighting. That would be very interesting, and I'm pretty sure that would kind of attract a different type of audience into the game that we don't have yet. So yeah, I think we should have more variety.
Yeah.
I think what people are saying is like Celina was saying, like the whole like doll face kind of aesthetic, or like the cute kind of look for girls. It's like a very like Japanese kind of style, right?
East Asian
like
in general.
Yeah, like in Tekken you have a lot of characters. I mean, there's a lot of characters, female characters in Tekken are like similar. Like you got like similar in structure, similar in faces. That if you were to take away the clothing and the hair and everything and just leave the face on its own, they actually look so similar to each other. So there's obviously like a pattern there. Whereas in like it's similar in Capcom games like Street Fighter 5. Like if you literally just take the face alone and just take like the hair, everything off, it'd be kind of hard to tell the characters apart, maybe.
Yeah.
So I think it's more like in American fighting games, like Mortal Kombat, for example. They're more distinct, more like they're not afraid to play around with more Fridays and character designs. Like in Mortal Kombat, Defora, she's a female character, but she's like kind of gross. She's a bug. She shoots stuff out of her mouth and everything, right? But some people like really appreciate the design because it's just different from the norm.
Yeah.
Or you have like Sonya, like she's not supposed to be like pretty. She's kind of like hardened. She at least in 10 and 11 anyway, like she's hardened. She's like a veteran. She's a general, so she has like the whole military thing about her. And she appears to be like a mature kind of character. So it's not something you would see maybe in like Japanese kind of style fighting games. Like, for example, like in Tag 2, Michelle looks younger than Julia.
Yeah.
Like, and she's supposed to be like the adopted mother of Julia, but she actually looks younger than her. Or like, I know Kazumi.
Nina. They had to freeze Nina to keep her eligible.
I think that was a big example, right? Or for me, Defar was a big example, and same with Sonya Blade as well. Like, just like, and also there was another one I'm trying to remember. Like Sindel, like she's kind of old, right? But she still has this whole position of power around her. She's the queen of Edenia or whatever, and she has the position of power around her. And she's old. She's grey hair, but it still works. Like, it's still good. Yeah. She has a big following still, and
that's cool.
Yeah, I think just in Tekken, like I think they messed up with June and Kazumi. Like they don't look their age. Like June should be in her 40s or whatever in Tag 2, but she looks obviously like fresh faced and young and everything. And Kazumi, I think the lore behind her was that she died at a certain age, so she looks
she's
the way
forever
she
young.
is. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I think it's just a cop out. Like it's just an excuse. But I would like to introduce more variety, like older women, like hardened women, or like Sonya is a good example. Like she's hardened, she's a military woman, she's hardened. It really shows in her design or in her vocabulary and everything. So yeah, definitely more variety. I think Japanese style developers for fighting games needs to like change their views a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, nothing is created in a vacuum, and it's, you know, in Japan there's this a massive social pressure for women to conform to a very narrow idea of beauty, which is like young, baby-faced, youthful. I mean, the youth is really what I'm kind of underlining here. It's really represented in the roster in most Japanese fighting games. I mean, like, women cannot be over 30. It's just like, why would you want to play as a woman over 30? Really? Like, yeah, actually, yeah. You know, like, imagine if Nina had like a few silver hairs and some battle scars. Like, how much? Like, if you could, yeah, right. If you could see the experience of her life on this character, you know, and like, again, what does it say like about women in general? Like, what is the subtext there? Like, if you look at the male characters, you have Heihachi, buff old guy. You have King, huge. You have thin guys. You have fat guys. You have old guys. You have young guys. You have all bold guys. You have psycho guys. And that range of diversity is very, very narrow for women. And I mean, aside from the subtext, it's also just boring. It's boring. Like, I really wish there was more diversity. I mean, imagine if Kazumi was like kind of like a possessed ghost. Like, they didn't go for like, oh, she's a pretty young Japanese lady. Like, she's like scary. She's got like white eyes, and she kind of, you know, like Hisako, for example. She's like genuinely terrifying, right? Like, again, what if Alisa like went crazy mode when Chainsaws came out? Red eyes, like hunched over, like, you know, scratching around, like play around a bit. You know, it'd just be cool.
Amazing.
Right? Right? So on that point, I guess we don't have time to explore every single fighting game, but I guess let's go through the women in Tekken and just let me know what you think of them. And there are, correct me if I'm wrong, there are 18 female characters in Tekken, and let's start with the most iconic, Nina.
So what we think about her? Yeah. They really should have aged her, honestly. Just age her, man. Like, I'm really tired of women who've been in the game since the first one, and you're supposed to at least be damn near 50. Like, please, give me a little something to work with here, because I just, you know, keep the style, whatever. Nina's amazing. Love you, Nina. But baby, you gotta get older. Like, you have to get older.
I mean, they went out of the way to like put her to sleep just to make her look the same for future Tekken games. Like, when I heard that, I was like, you know, when I was younger, I was like, okay, it's just some story device thing or whatever. But when I started getting more familiar with everything, it's like, okay, they actually did that just to keep her young looking for future games. Like, that's literally the purpose. So, I mean, she's an assassin. She's been through a lot. Like, she should definitely have some kind of hardened look to her. Like I know I talk about Sonya a lot, but I think Sonya is such a good design. But I think she should take some notes from Sonya, like in a hardened attitude, like a bit. You can see on the face as well. You can see in the voice as well, and the dialogue that she has. Like, you can tell that Sonya's been through a lot, so she'll have some of that for Nina as well. So yeah, no, definitely Nina needs some changes in the future. But I think going from Tide 2 to Tekken 7 was a really good start, because, you know, like, she was the dress. I think the dress is really good.
Oh, and I think the Kill Bill inspired dress. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. Like, because the fact that they go in for a Kill Bill kind of aspect to her, like, they're kind of acknowledging, okay, she's an assassin, she's on the job, you know, she's doing all this, you know.
Super cool.
Yeah, like, she's on the job. Like, I know, like, before she had the purple, like, kind of assassin
I never
suit.
Liked that. I never liked the
nice.
Yeah, I know it's iconic, but it never jived with me. Sorry.
Yeah,
the camouflage one, right? That one.
Yeah.
That one, right?
But yeah, I just thought the wedding dress was better, because she had like the gun on her leg,
grenades.
Yeah, like the sheet. Yeah. So yeah, definitely aged Nina up a bit for sure. But I think she's still like one of the better designs. Still, like, but she still suffers obviously from the Japanese, like, you know, keep her cute, keep her, you know, really beautiful looking or whatever. But smooth. I still think, like, yeah, like I don't play her, but I can appreciate that she is definitely one of the better designs, I think.
Celina, Cuddle, anything you want to add about Nina?
Just like, well, Nina as well, but other characters. It goes for other characters too. But like Fergus said, if she has like a backstory of being an assassin and stuff like that, it really would be better if that can like physically show. Obviously, she's been through a lot, so you know, it just like for a new player like me, I can't really see her personality. Like, okay, she's an assassin. Like, I wouldn't know that if you wouldn't tell me that. And that goes for other characters as well. Like, I don't know what kind of backstory they have just by looking at them. So it would be a lot better if they can kind of show that.
Yeah. And, like, why does only Kazuya get that scars? You know, why does only Kazuya and the dudes get like,
he's the most wounded in the game. Ooh, got the one about Kate. Big whoop. Okay, we got other characters with. Come on, you can't just have him with the battle scars and the messed up. Well, the one eye, which I do like that they did to him before. What a great transition into a character.
Right.
A change. That was sick. By the way,
I just feel like all these the most daring design decisions are generally done on the male characters, and it's just kind of. Like regarding Nina, I think in terms of concept, she's really cool. I like the idea of a serious kind of lone wolf assassin type, but I just think the execution, they've totally fluffed it. Aside from the bride costume, which I think is super inspired, but I always found her like super bland, to be honest with you. Currently, the Nina community is out for my blood because I had to. Yeah.
You insulted her queen, like
I did. But look, nothing against you personally. I just think your character's boring as hell. Like, what like this character had so much potential. Like in Tekken 3, there's this thing going on with her father and Anna's, and well, it's never explored it. They never explored it.
Well, why does it a little bit more?
Yeah.
I mean, they had like a side game, Death by Degrees. By the way, it's so bad, don't play it. But
I don't play it.
I'm sorry. That game sucks. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say that first. But anyway, but they did go into the lore a bit there, but like, it's not canon. I think, I don't know. They never mention again in the Tekken's after Death by Degrees, so I don't know what they want to do with the story. I mean, it's not even just for Nina. That's like almost every character on the roster. They just don't know what story they want to do with the character, so they just give them meme generic shit or whatever at this point. They're all comic relief characters at this point.
Yeah. No, and as you said, I think it was last time. Like, why does she have an Irish accent? Wouldn't that be nice?
I tweeted about this so many times. I want her to have a Cork accent or a North Dublin accent.
Oh, you have a particular accent. You have a particular like dialect.
Oh, no. Just look up Cork accents on YouTube. There's so many. But I want Nina to sound like that or something. But
I think it would give them more personality for sure.
Right? Yeah.
With what Celina was saying about the when we look at them, we can't really tell what the heck their backstory is. But giving those little like changes, like an accent, we go, okay, they're from there. Like, I really like that. It's a really good idea.
Yeah. Like if you never told me that they were Irish, I would never know. Like, but I think it's like this thing. Like, I don't want to like offend anyone or anything, but it's like a lot of Americans, and particularly like East Coast, like in New York, people be like, oh yeah, my grandmother's Irish. I'm Irish as well. It's like, no, you're not. I'm sorry. Just sit back. Okay? I think that's what the Williams are like to me. Like, oh yeah, we're Irish too. It's like,
but are you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like my grandmother's brother's cat, dog, whatever is Irish. I'm part Irish too. It's very to that extent. That's what the Williams are like to me.
I feel you, because like it's supposed to be a part of who they are, right? They literally state it in their bio things, right? The little books they used to have. The what's up? Like, where do we get to see this come through? Like Paul loving the smell of gasoline. Does that ever come up ever again? No, just I get it. Small things about them, the really important, or things that maybe that character likes specifically that makes them stand out from another character.
Yeah, like
as far as I know, like they're the only Irish characters we have in fighting games, or at least like the big known fighting games. And
Cayenne from Toshin, then he is Irish.
Okay, fair enough. I'll give you that one. But at least one of the ones I know anyway. But like, They're not like. I'm sorry, they're just not like.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. No, there are no Irish characters. I know that. I can't think of any. Like, but Nina's voice seriously sounds like Siri or something. It's like, Nina, where's the local
bedtime? Like, okay, calm down. Like, all sultry and like, calm down.
But it's such a shame because I think this character had so much potential, but they've just and like both in terms of a story, but also mechanically as well. I never felt she's really. This is something I'm going to explore in a future podcast. We're going to talk about Nina's gameplay as well. But like Nina, to me, it just screams wasted potential. And I'm sad. Anyway, Anna, what do you guys think about Anna?
Fergus, how would you knock that one out real quick?
Yeah.
I'll let you go because
as the representation for Anna, I guess. But I mean, Anna is obviously like, she's sultry, she's promiscuous, she's like the polar opposite of Nina. Nina's like cold, hardens, blah blah. But Anna's just like, but Anna's just like playful, like confident kind of woman. And she shows it in her win poses. She shows it in her style. She's dirty. She fights dirty.
I like that. I like when a character's personality matches their gameplay. So that's why Anna gets big plus points from me.
Yeah, like it's in her style. Like she's mix up heavy. She fights dirty. She skanks you out. She kind of goes with her design, her personality a little bit. Yeah. And obviously, she has a big gay following, so that's another thing. Yeah, like people are saying my queen, Kappa pride, and all that. But
I also like how she wears a funeral dress. She wears a funeral dress to contrast with Nina's bride's dress. I thought that was super cool.
So she's like that character for us, like she like her outfit in 7, her raid chart. I think everything about Anna was just done really well in Tekken 7. Like her redesign in 7, I think everything was just done really well.
I agree. I like Anna.
It's really solid design. Sorry, I'll let you go.
No. Go for it. Go for it. I just wanted to agree with Fergus.
Oh, I was just gonna agree with Fergus too. Because I'm like, I want to hear what he has to say because like he's one of the best Anna players I've ever seen. And you seem so connected to her, right? And everything you said.
Yeah, I love her. Like even I have a statue of her as well.
That is a cool statue. Is she giving you the finger? Is she giving you the finger in that statue? Can I see it again?
That statue so much.
No. It looks like she's giving you the finger. That's a very Anna thing to do.
Cool. Isn't that from the Tag 2 design? Is that the Tag 2 design of the what's it called? What's the name of
the panel? The panel, right? It was her like panel 4. So that's what the beta is signed off.
Yeah. I think Anna definitely they did her better. Like that's a solid character design. Like Arya said as well, like, when the character's fighting style matches their personality,
I love
it really works. Just everything is, aggressive, playful, sexy, which I really think is like everything she is. That booty bump, like Jesus Christ, like and the sounds that she makes, by the way, super just assertive, but like I like how confident she sounds. She's out to kill. I think they did her a lot of justice.
Yeah. So I just want to say something like even her wall ender is her booty ender. Like,
booty.
Like her main damaging wall ender is her shoving her arse into your face. I think that just screams everything about the character, like the design in gameplay. Like
she yells it, by the way.
Yeah.
So satisfying.
I think like in the question of Nina versus Anna, like Nina's unquestionably the more complex, more technical character, but Anna, I guess her game plan is a bit dumb, but it's much more entertaining. Like, and she's also a character with really clear cut strengths and weaknesses, which I always like in terms of gameplay design as well. I mean, for me, she just ticks a lot of boxes. And yeah, Celina, what are your thoughts on Anna?
I actually have a friend who mains an Anna, and we play a lot in offline and online. But she has a lot of personality to the point where when I'm up against her, if I know for a fact that my friend's not taunting me, but it feels like I'm being taunted by her. He's playing just fine. He's not doing anything wrong. He's not, trolling or anything. But it just feels like the way she fights kind of gives off that energy, and that really shows her character. And I think that's a good thing. Although I don't like going up against her. I'm sorry.
She's really frustrating to play against. It's super stressful to play. Until you realize that you can just sidestep right pretty much everything.
I've been stepping left. Well, GG's.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. Like with Steve, I just love to do the step right weave, but yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. Next character. Sorry.
So just something to say quickly, and like someone said in the chat, and I thought it was actually perfect. Like she can make you look really bad at the game if you're guessing wrong against her, and I think that also kind of ties in. Like you kind of play into her game, into her like her web of, I don't know, ananas or whatever. But like like she can make you look really bad if she just mixes you up successfully multiple times in a row. And again, I think that just ties into her design, her attitude, her personality, and everything.
That's what's cool about the character. She's a real gambler sort of character, and I really like that. Like that she personifies sort of Lady Luck. And again, her storyline is about that. She's like a gambler sort of character. So there's a real synergy between her story, her character, her gameplay. So yeah, I think Anna is a big win for me. And I think it sounds like, by the sounds of it, everyone loves Anna, so we all love Anna. Hooray for Anna!
I have a fun time playing her. I don't know everything about her, but I like how creative her move list is, and what you can like, the Oki, the potential, the options. Really unique.
No, super fun. And I think this might be a perfect time to give a bit of a mention to Fergus' recent Anna Season 4 wish list. Go to Fergus' channel, check it out.
Please watch my YouTube.
No, it's really good. Check
it out. I want to see what you got in there.
So next character is Lili, and she's very popular. She's like always high up in the popularity rate. So well, I'll leave it to you guys. I mean, what do you think of Lili? I've never been the biggest fan. I liked her when she first came in Dark Resurrection, but I don't really like what they've taken the character, to be honest with you.
Same. I used to be a Lili main in DR, and then I think she kind of lost a lot of personality, and she just kind of got really watered down to me. I don't know, like she didn't feel satisfying to play. I like that she had more of a personality back then, and then they kind of just like made it like we talked about earlier, like it's like this Asuka feud. Like,
what is that? What is that?
And also they messed up her hitboxes and stuff. Certain stuff doesn't connect when she punishes certain things. Like she just feels very incomplete now. I feel like they really kind of ignored the character.
Yeah, I agree. Like mechanically and story-wise, I feel they've really just failed to go anywhere meaningful with this character. Which is a shame, because when I saw her design in Dark Resurrection, I thought she was really, really cool, actually. Yeah, Fergus, Celina.
I think when I first saw Lili, they kidnapped her, like in the Tekken DR intro, they kidnapped her in the car, and then she broke free, she jumped out of the car, it blew up behind her, and then she fought off the captors that they were going after her. So I think that's kind of cool. But like, she is a very stereotypical kind of anime character. And I remember when she was first released, I remember there's kind of like a backlash around her, because previous to Tekken 5, maybe, like it was very focused on martial arts, like authentic fighting styles and stuff like that. And then Lili kind of comes in with this gymnastics and kind of style. And I remember a lot of people kind of complaining about it at the time. Like, I mean, it's still like a file fighting style. It's still something that's portrayed in real life. Maybe it's not necessarily martial arts, but gymnastics is still like a very real sport. And she implements this in her fighting style. And I think she was done well in DR, but like so many characters in the game, it's just wasted potential. Like, it just went nowhere. They just turned the character into comic relief. Like she has a purpose for people, right? Like rich anime girl in a position of power.
She's basically Karen. She's basically budget Karen.
Yeah, like she fulfills that role like in the game. Like some people really like that kind of stuff. Some people really like. I think she's a love or hate kind of character. But she has her purpose in the game.
Yeah. Celina?
That's why a lot of the Japanese people tend to like her. Like Fergus said, she's like that typical type of character that's always like, there's always one character like her in an anime, kind of like the rich, stuck-up girl. Yes, that looks down on people, and for that reason, I don't like I said, I started getting into Tekken a lot from Tekken 7, so I don't know her too much. But I guess as a Japanese person, I do kind of like that attitude that she has. Like that, that rich girl kind of looking down on people, but she's also strong kind of character. So I'm okay with her.
Okay. Yeah, no. I again, like, I don't actively like dislike her, but again, I just feel like they wish they'd done more. I felt there was a lot of potential behind that character. Like, again, when it comes to gameplay as well, the character never really gelled for me, because you have a bunch of like strong lockdown tools, like her down forward 3, her forward 4. These are designed to stop you like wanting to press buttons. But then her other main strength is her evasion with her sidestep. And these two strengths just don't complement each other in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. She always felt like a bit of a haphazard mishmash of a character. They're like, yeah, we want to have a character that flips around, and she's a snooty girl from Monaco.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't really seem any consistent train of thought beyond this really superficial idea of what they wanted to do with her.
I remember there's like kind of a complaint, like like she's this 16-year-old girl, or however old she is, and like she's beating professional like martial artists with this kind of dancing kind of style. And I remember back in the day, a lot of people took offense to this, because obviously like, it's not realistic at all. Like, a 16-year-old girl beating up like a big demon character or whatever. But obviously, like fighting games are meant to be real, of course. But like, like in her story, like she knows what she is. Like, they kind of played into the whole stuck-up rich girl, like she can do what she wants kind of style. Like, she beats Gang Ryu, and then she kind of like caresses him or whatever. And then you remember that scene? That was really odd.
That was bizarre, wasn't it? I just remember this. Like, what was that?
That was really, really weird.
And they never went back to it, did they? They just kind of like, well, sure.
Yeah, and then, and then she fought Jinpachi at the end. She's like, I must eliminate you for my father's sake or whatever. So she had like the whole backstory of trying to help her father and underground fighting, like she was undercover. She didn't want anyone to find out. But, I thought that was kind of cool. She's trying to escape the rich life. She wants to do her own thing. She wants to fight, but not have anyone know about it. But then, like most characters in the game, they just kind of ruined it and just paired her up with Asuka and then ruined them both together. And then
that rivalry is so whatever. Like someone says in the chat when she meets Gunryu, she's like, "Wow, such robust eyebrows." It's a weird compliment.
Yeah. No, I thought that she was doing well in DR, but after that, she was just another joke character.
Yeah, it's a bummer, isn't it? Well, speaking of the whole rivalry with Asuka, the next character is Asuka. What are your thoughts? What are your completely unbiased thoughts on Asuka?
Honestly, this deserves a whole nother podcast. But yeah, no, like I said before at the podcast, before we went live, she was really good. Like, she had a vengeance kind of story about her. Like, one of my favorite images about her was dragging the gang members. Like the Tekken art, the official art for no prologue in Tekken 5, it was her dragging off gang members. She was badass. She drove off a radio tower to save a kitten. But and then she found Feng. Her personality really comes out, the Kansai accent, and
the
she said,
assertive.
I'll show you who's weak. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to show you who's weak.
That's cool.
And it really shows them. Yeah, and then I don't know if it was canon. She didn't beat Fen. It wasn't canon, and then she could have been involved in the main storyline. Like, she's a Gazama.
Yeah,
and obviously you have Jin and June, and even the missionless side as well. She could have been involved in there.
Again, went nowhere.
And like I said earlier on, like Namco are fully self-aware of this in her Tekken 7 ending, where they had Lili do this stupid cringe dance, popping off. Oh yeah, I own you now. I bought your house. By the way, you could have been involved in the missionless storyline, but well, you're stuck here with me. And it's just that they're so self-aware that they're butchering the character. It's just so infuriating, honestly. Like, you've been an Asuka fan, just watching this, just knowing that they're making fun of the character almost. It's so disrespectful. And I don't know what they're going to do from there on. Like, honestly, I don't care. Like, for me, Asuka is only Tekken 5 Asuka. Tekken 6 Asuka is okay. Tag 2 and Tekken 7 just doesn't exist to me, to be honest. When I think of Asuka, it's Tekken 5 Asuka.
I also really miss her Aikido, like Hakama, like the gi, the traditional Aikido garb she wears. Like, why did they take that out? That's defining part of that character.
Right, it's her. Like it's traditional. Like Akiko. Like I feel like you said, and she wore it well. It's in the intro of Tekken 5. You know, when she
that's how you first see her. That you're first introduced to arcade. The arcade intro has her like putting on the headband, and it's Did you forget about this? That she does Aikido?
And the geisha outfit she had in Tekken 5 as well. You know, it really suited the character. I actually have more statues of her over there. I have the geisha outfit statue as well.
Show and tell. I'd love to see. Really? It. Yeah. Go for it. We want to see all the statues, unless it requires you having to like unlock a cabinet and all that kind of stuff.
No. It's okay. It's here. This here.
Oh, that is. I love that outfit. That's such a cool one.
It's just really good, right? It's really good.
Yeah. The Tekken 5 one.
Obviously. Yeah, but again, like most characters, they just ruined her like everyone else.
DLC, Bandai Namco. DLC. Like what? Sell it to me.
Just please, just fix her. Like, just make her good again. Like, make Asuka great again.
Let's not even get into the giant hands she has now, which is just so disproportionate.
Oh, show again. There it is. There. It took forever to put together.
Oh, you have to put it together.
Wow.
Super cool.
Didn't know you had to put together.
Yeah, but this is the only Asuka I know. Any after Tekken 5, I don't know her.
Yeah. Well, Celina, Cuddle, your thoughts on Asuka?
I think she's. I mean, I have to agree with Fergus on this. The 5, she was super serious. Like her goal, was solid. And she had a lot of like interesting things about her as a character, but I liked how tough she was. She also had a sense of justice. That's really fun. But that really went away. Like it was discussed once Lili was introduced as a rival. It didn't have to be that way. It didn't have to ruin anything, but it did. And now Asuka, like though I think she's a pretty like decent like character. I think she's good like a fighting style wise, but when it comes to the personality, yet again, she got really toned down, super watered.
Yeah.
I'm forever sad about it. I am.
Understand.
Celina, what do you think about Asuka?
I don't know her before Tekken 7, so I can't really compare like how she is now from back then. But every time I stream Tekken, and every time I go into rank, and when I go up against Asuka, I tell chat all the time. But if she existed in real life, I don't think I could be friends with her. She's just, her person, her Kansai accent, or the way she talks, and it's very, very. I mean, in that sense, I think she has a very strong personality, but she's not my cup of tea, if that makes sense.
I get you. No, I mean she really does embody the whole Kansai personality, and that's what's cool about her.
I mean, she's cocky, she's headstrong, like she's hot-headed. I think it's like tomboyish kind of attitude. It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Harada from the Kansai region, or am I just making this up completely?
I wouldn't know.
I don't know. Maybe I'm probably just making this up. Okay. So next, going on from Asuka to June.
Oh man.
Look, if you had to pick. Like you can only have Asuka or June in Tekken 8. Who would you pick? I'm going for June. I'm sorry.
June. I like Asuka.
I don't know June, so.
June?
I mean.
June, Celina?
I don't know June.
Oh, you don't know June. Okay.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, both there.
I feel like both really could have been in the game. Legit, like they're their own characters. I still feel like Asuka is a character on her own. They completely abandoned June after a certain point in the storyline, and so Asuka became this full developed character, playstyle wise, whatever. But I really don't think they can just completely like. She needs to stay. If you're gonna put June in there, make sure they're very, very different. Which I think in Tag 2 they were very, very different with some similarities.
Offensive, wasn't she? June was more offensive and like string based. Right.
Her stances, she had some cool parry stuff, like some really just that was a strong character. I think she was stronger than Asuka, to be honest. But they definitely both have a place. I think she's more elegant. Yeah. I think they could introduce that dark side, because Unknown is definitely the dark side of June. Put that in there. Do something with that. That is sick. That wolf thing too. That whole thing. I think the way June was in Tekken 2 was amazing. I really love that character in Tekken 2 specifically. That's the way I'll always remember her. I don't really care much for her in Tag. So I really hope they do something better with her and 8 if she's in there. But man, Tekken 2 June, they need to revisit that because that was like she was like elegant, but like she fought, like, you know, she hit like a truck, you know, and like loved animals. And like when she got off the bus into the fields in Tekken 2, I was like, oh my god, this character. That was my main in Tekken. Oh my gosh, she was so cool. And the reversal, like everything you did with her, like a bone would crack. Do that. Put that back in the game. That's all. That's almost.
I like women who break your bones. I always like that.
Like, oh my god, this is so sick.
For sure. No, I've always loved June. Like Fergus.
I think, it's kind of a hard question for me because I'm like a huge fanboy of both characters.
Right.
Like I'm on Twitter, like I'm one of those guys. Bring June back, you know. Yeah. And like,
would you sacrifice Asuka for June?
A lot of people ask me this question. And I really cannot answer it, honestly.
Aztec ritual.
No, don't say that to me. But like, I always have like a soft spot for June because I think she was my first fighting game character ever.
Oh,
because
really?
on the Tekken 2 demo disc, it was her and Lei. Yeah. So it was her and Lei on the Tekken 2 demo disc, and I picked June, of course. And you know, I think I have a soft spot for her because she was my first fighting game character ever, and I used her in Tag 2 for years and years, like Asuka and June. So I used them both together. But I think I might prefer Asuka a bit more, but June would be like a super close second. And like those two characters, Asuka and June, are like my top 2 Tekken characters, like my top 2 favorites, and then like Julia, for example, would be number 3. So I would love June back, but I don't know if I want her back in Tekken 7 Season 4, because I know she's going to be rushed in with no story, not much to her, because she's such a important character in the series that she deserves a whole back lore. She deserves, like, we don't know how she met Kazuya, we don't know much about them, like the time.
But I like how it's ambiguous. But there is something to fill in. I like the was it Tekken 6 where they did sort of like a roundup of the entire story? They did so well there. They kept the ambiguity, but they gave you little hints into their relationship.
They said that Kazuya met June during the tournaments, but that was it. There was like, how did they interact? How did they come about making Jin? You know, like, you know, how did they get romantically involved? You know, like, there's so much we don't know.
The thing with June is, if you bring her back, like a lot of people wanted her for season 4, and I'm like, I don't want her for season 4 because you have to treat this character with the respect she demands. Like, she's integral to the story. You can't just like just plop her in at season 4, like, hey, it's June, you know, DLC. Like if you introduce her, she has to be central to the plot, and like.
But I thought in Tag 2, she was design wise, I thought she was the most beautiful design in Tag 2 because her clothing.
Oh, it's beautiful with the crows, with the birds.
Yeah, with the crows on the legs and the top, and her CGI, the render was just super good and super well done. And like
they nailed it. They nailed it.
Yeah, they did June perfectly in Tag 2, in my opinion. But I also do like Tekken 2 June a lot. You know, she had the bow. She is like all about nature, and it was such a random, like, going from Tekken 2 June, you know, she was just like a normal girl. She loves nature. You know, she entered a tournament to raise funds for animal organization or something like that, or to get information for whoever. And then she suddenly became this retconned, super important character. She got involved with Kazuya. She fought off Ogre. No, she fought off the Devil Spirit that came after her. Like, I could make a whole video on that.
The fact that she's only in one mainline game, though, and she's so central to the plot, gives her this kind of special status amongst the cast.
Yeah, like a mysterious kind of aura. Like she's so blind, but at the same time, there's not a lot we know about her. So I would love for her to be explored in Tekken 8. Like, I would love for her, Kazuya and Jin to be fighting on top of a volcano or something, and she just comes out of nowhere with a slipper, just smacks them around the head.
With a slipper?
Yeah, like, and just tell them to stop being idiots or whatever.
That'd be
like,
great.
give out. I would kill for that. I would love that. But I would really hope she comes back in Tekken 8. Like, I love the character a lot. And
I think it's the.
No,
I'd love to see that too, but it has to be done the right way. Like, it has to be done the right way. With the proper respect. There was an interesting point you brought up, like your first fighting game character. I can't remember my first fighting game character, but I certainly remember my first fighting game memory. I remember it very vividly and very clearly. But before we get to me, I want to ask, well, everyone else, like, what was your first fighting game memory?
Oh,
like the first time you picked up a fighting game, and do you remember which character it was?
I played with my. I remember the only reason I picked up a fighting game was because of my dad, and I remember he was just playing downstairs in the living room, and so you include your kids in the stuff that you're doing, right? So it's like, hey, I said, can I play too? And he's like, yeah. And if I recall correctly, June was like my first, like the first character I picked.
Snap.
Yeah, she's really cool. Tekken 2. And just to mention, Tag 1, by the way, they should put that costume on her. The one where it looks like what is that? It looks like a fighting outfit. You guys know the spark.
It looks like,
yeah, I know. Yeah.
That needs to do something with that. The knee pads and the up one.
That one. Yeah. That's cool, isn't it?
Make something with that. Okay, that's awesome.
The skater look. The tune is a skater look. How about you, Celina? What was your first fighting game memory?
The one that I can really remember, like I said, is Tekken 3, and I think my father, he just kept on buying games, but he was busy himself, so he never played it. It was always lying around, and I was just playing because I wanted to see the stories of every character, and I really liked Xiaoyu's story personally. And I remember had Gon. Was it the little dinosaur?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Is he famous actually? Because I've lived in Japan for a few years now. I've never actually seen much of Gon, but
yeah, like Japanese people like cute things, so anything that's small and cute are pretty popular. And I wanted to I wanted to really get into him. I really wanted to use him as a child, but I remember I had such a tough time going through the arcade mode against Ogre because I don't know, Gon just seemed very small, and Ogre just kept on killing me, and I was almost crying, and I gave my dad the controller and asked him to beat it for me, and he did. But I think that was like the first time that like a fighting game broke my heart. Like I couldn't do anything, and in the end I enjoyed it, and that was like I never touched Gon from that day on. By the way, the small characters were just maybe that's why I like King. Maybe that's why I like bigger characters now.
Right. Interesting.
Maybe
that's a sweet story. My first fighting game, I remember very vividly, it was 1991, and I was 5 years old. And I'm sure you guys can guess which fighting game it was. It was Street Fighter 2 in the arcades, the original version. And I was in a place called like Center Parks, which is like this family like vacation spot in England. I think it's in Sherwood Forest or Nottingham Forest. Anyway, it's where Robin Hood used to hang out. And anyway, so I was there, and they had an arcade there, and it was 1991, and like there was this huge line snaking around Street Fighter 2. Like you cannot believe the impact of this game. No one had ever seen anything like it. It was Nottingham Forest, that's right. So anyway, my dad and I, we wait in this queue for like 20, 30 minutes, and I get up, and the guy who was just beaten, he was using Blanca. And I got in and I sat next to the guy, and like it was a sit-down cabinet, which was kind of unusual for arcades at the time, but the sound was booming. And the first thing I saw was Blanca's loss screen. Now, like the combination of the really loud sound and this monitor shoved in my face, like you know what Blanca's loss screen is? He kind of like his eyes pop out and he kind of hyperventilates, and over time it gets faster and faster. And it's like, and I was terrified. I was so scared. I just started crying and bawling, and I just legged it. So that was my first experience of a fighting game. But like I think, yeah, like I aside from that, the Mega Drive, I played a bunch of games on the Mega Drive. So like Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, Eternal Champions. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but these are like some early fighting games for me. But Yeah, these are old man games. Let's
Yeah,
move on to the
before
next
my time.
character.
Yeah.
We're getting a little, we're going back in time. out
Yeah,
there.
just getting my cane out, my walking stick. So
I think.
Mm.
Sorry, when I say this, it kind of upsets some people. I haven't played a Street Fighter game till Street Fighter 4, so I didn't play Street Fighter 2. I didn't play Third Strike or any of the games before that. So
I remember once you said you really dislike Super Turbo. You think it's like one of the most overrated games of all time.
I think, like I played it. I think it aged horribly. It looks horrible. It plays horrible. It literally has random factors and stun and damage in it. I honestly don't. I don't get the feel. Like, I don't have the nostalgia goggles, so that might be why. I think people just praise it to have like hipster kind of value to it. Oh, it's a good game. Back in my day, we played this. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
But honestly,
like
I don't think it aged well at all.
It's really hard for me to assess Super Turbo objectively because like I was actually around when it came out, and I wasn't part of the competitive scene or anything, but like I like it's brutal and it's really unforgiving, but it's like when it comes to like it's such a pure 2D fighting game. I think rivaled only by Hyper Fighting. I think I slightly prefer Hyper Fighting actually because that's even more pure. But Super Turbo is like the OG. Like I think. Yeah,
I know. It's like it's respected because it's like the first fighting game to like really kind of come out as a competitive game or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I played like I put about 20 hours into it. Like I gave it a real go. And I just can't, like, I just think it's horrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm sorry to shit on everyone's like child right now, but that's just how I feel about the game.
Everyone disliked that. So
Everybody said, let's go.
So
everyone will remember that.
So we've digressed like hard here. So back to the topic. Yeah.
Okay.
And next is going from June, and the next character, another character we haven't seen in a long time, Kunimitsu.
I don't know this character, so but all I know is she's a ninja, and like just because of that, I'm kind of wanting to see what like
Ninjas are
her
cool.
in Tekken 7. I hope she comes.
I also thought she was a cool design. I mean, weirdly, Kunimitsu in Tekken 1 was a man. Like, straight up, it was a man.
I remember that.
Yeah. And then they made her female in Tekken 2. I guess they decided, like, this character isn't particularly interesting. Let's give it a twist. And then she...
I think she was, like, too similar to Yoshi in Tekken 1, wasn't she? Like,
exactly.
design-wise.
Yeah.
And 2, she kind of
adopted the fox mask and gained her identity. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man, she was so cool in 2.
I love her too.
I think in Tag she got the most personality though with
Tag
those
too.
outfits.
Oh,
Tag one. Yeah, her face. You could see a bit of her face. I got the purple outfit.
Oh yeah.
Got the red hair. Like that. No, that's a cool design.
Yeah.
That's the movie that I'm hoping we see. The one in Tag 2 was fine. Like I think she was really cool. But I don't know. I felt like in Tag 2, a lot of like the characters who kind of returned after not being there for a long time really kind of fell flat in regards to personality. I think she was cool, like the design, but there wasn't really much I was feeling except for she made a couple like dog noises when she hit stuff and blew some fire, which is cool, but it's just like I'm not feeling something here with her. But in the old, like in Tag and in 2, I did. Yeah.
I feel it's another character that has sort of like wasted potential. I like the basic design. I like the fox mask. I like the implication that she might be blind. That's all super cool. Like she has scars directly over her eyes, so there's this implication that she can't see, like Spag, you know.
Just had to bring it up.
I had to bring it up. They're kindred spirits. But yeah, like her gameplay's always sucked. I'm sorry. Like she was so boring in Tag 2. Like what is it to this character?
Yeah. She was just a good tag assist to me, but she did barely any damage in my opinion.
Yeah.
I just think like her moveset, like she had good mids, but she had like, in my opinion, the worst set of lows in the game. Like her low pokes were like either launch punch pull or minus on hit. Like she didn't have a real 1+2 grab as well. Like unless she was paired with Yoshimitsu, she didn't have a real 1+2 grab. So she was just super weak. Like she was like you had to play her pretty dry, like 10-1,
so boring.
10-4, stuff like that. Yeah. Because she had to, because she was so limited in that way. But design-wise, I think she's just very different. Like, you know, like there's a lot of like cutesy young girl in Tekken. So I think for Kuni, she's just different. She's just this ninja. She's been around for a while.
Yeah.
She's very mysterious. She's like similar to June. She's very mysterious. We don't know a lot about her, but it's that kind of like appeal that like brings people to her. Like, who is she? Like, you know, like, who is she? Like, what does she do? You know, there's a lot of things we don't know about the character.
I would love the character if they just made her gameplay interesting. That's my main issue with her. I think design-wise, she's solid actually. And I kind of hope it might be her in season 4 because I would like to give them a decent stab at this character and really flesh her out. I doubt story-wise they're going to do anything big with her because Tekken 7's or everyone's plot lines suck. But mechanically, I'd love to see them try something cool with her. I think she deserves it. Speaking of female ninjas, up next is Master Raven.
I'm gonna have to say, they really didn't need to replace her. They should have replaced Raven. I really don't think they should have. Like, she could have been a whole other character on her own. She doesn't feel like she has much going. Cool, like I love the way, you know, she fights. That's really fun. But I saw it on Raven first, so then keep it with him because it just feels like a palette swap or whatever they call it. And I don't like that because look, like I mentioned earlier, I want to have more representation. And you know, if I'm gonna,
you want to be an original character. I get you.
Yeah, I don't want it to be like this is somebody else. This is literally somebody else's move list.
Yeah, I get you.
Just put one of these guys back in the game, then I'm fine with that. He was really cool. That version of Raven is so cool. He's so cool, and I miss that character. So you know, she's some spinoff, like, you know, it reminds me of the Yoshimitsu Kunimitsu thing. But if you're gonna make it kind of like that, make her very different and make her like really unique, like some. Oh,
yeah. Oh,
but yeah, Linda, did she?
I think she did. Yeah.
All right. All right.
Maybe internet cut or.
That's cool. That's cool. I know she's still on, but we'll see. Let's carry on. Fergus, what are your thoughts on Master Raven?
I mean, she kind of fills a role in, like, you know, like a cold-hardened female ninja character, right? But I do agree with Cuddle. Like, you know, she could have been like a unique character. Like, she didn't have to replace Raven. Raven was his own character, so it feels like kind of forced that she was, you know, Raven was turned into female for Master Raven. But I mean, I wouldn't play her. I don't have much experience with her because obviously I didn't play Raven before, like, you know, because I tend to play female characters. So I didn't play Raven before, so I don't play Master Raven much in this game, just because she's kind of tricky to pick up, and then I just don't have that motivation to learn a new character, right? But yeah, I think she's just kind of a bit unnecessary. Like, I think if they're going to go for something like her, like, just make a new original character instead of replacing an assisting character previously.
Do you think there was like an executive meeting somewhere and it's like, we need to have a black woman in this game, and they're just like, let's just gender swap Raven? Do you think they just kind of hand waved it? Is that the impression you get? Oh, what happened there? Yeah, hi everyone. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. Well, I think I do know what happened there because first Celina got cut off, and then I got cut off. So I assume Discord was just doing some updates on their Japan servers or something. That must have been the case. Because the problem was Discord, and it was just for us two people living in Japan. And it is 4:40 in the morning right now in Japan. So I expect they thought no sane person is going to be up right now doing streaming or an important call. But yeah. So where were we? I guess we left it at Kunimitsu, the curse of Kunimitsu, and I guess our opinions on her were pretty much. Then we went to Master Raven. That's right, the curse of Master Raven, and I think the question I was going to ask was to Cuddle, and then I got cut off. Is that did you feel like there was like some kind of boardroom meeting where they decided at one point, hey, we need to have like a black woman in our fighting game. So let's just, whatever, replace Raven, make gender swap Raven. There you go. Master Raven.
Yeah, I think they did probably have some sort of discussion. I mean, that's why we have, I think, all these other, different types of characters as well, including Leroy. They all come from different walks of life, right? But one thing that they were missing was, since Christie isn't in the game, a Black woman in the roster, and so they've had this discussion maybe, but
you just wish she was her own character.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing, and that she didn't look like every other type of design of a Black person that Japanese companies have made, like the dreads all the time, and that's fine, it's a thing, but it's just done a little too much. Like we can only be one kind of Black when there are multiple types of Black people that exist in this world. So, and when we have versatile hairstyles like nobody's business, and Black comes in so many different shades. So yeah, I was hoping Master Raven would have had a more unique approach to her fighting style, maybe a bit more depth to the character, maybe a bit more punch there. I was hoping.
Wait, Leroy, Eddie, Master Raven, they all have dreads, don't they?
Yeah, this is the one I'm trying to get at. See what I'm saying? Like I said, nothing wrong with dreads, but I'm saying that Black hairstyles are very versatile. We have more than that one look, and I'm just asking that they do a little more research on that. That's all.
I had this idea that I thought they might have removed Bruce because they thought they were veering too dangerously into stereotypes, but to me he was one of the most original characters. He seemed like a genuine person.
Bruce was fine.
I love Bruce. Fine. Bruce was cool.
Why would they do? Okay. I was hoping they would bring him back. It would put a little more color in the cast, but nah.
There was actually a point where this game in Tekken 7.0, where for the longest time it didn't have a single Black character in it, and when they brought back Bruce, it was Josie. And the first Black character was actually Master Raven. It wasn't Eddie. So for the first 2 years of this game's lifespan, from 2015 to early 2017 or late 2016, whenever they introduced Master Raven, this game didn't have a single Black character.
Yup.
Yeah, and I thought it was kind of when they did that to Bruce, I was like, that's kind of fucked up. Because, let's get to Josie. I think that's the perfect segue into Josie. What are your thoughts on Josie?
I'm not a big fan. I think she's a very, very Japanese character. She's kind of crybaby. But I get she is the first Tekken Filipino character, I think.
Yeah.
So obviously to have that representation of her, and I think her name was
Josie Rizal.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same as my lack of history is showing here, but a very important figure.
So obviously she was a reference to this person that's really important for the Filipino people.
Yeah.
But design wise, she's just so Japanese, in such a bad way. She's well endowed. She's a crybaby on top of it, and her fighting style is good though. It's good, right? It's brutal. If you didn't look at the character, her style was good. Was it Savate, or I don't know what the style is.
It's supposed to be this it's supposed to be kickboxing or Muay Thai, and Miguel is the Savate user, drunk Savate.
Wait, isn't it called something? It's an E.
Eskrima, maybe.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Thank you, because I wasn't hitting it on the head. Thank you.
Yeah.
The style is good, but I think the character is just bad.
I want to ask I have a surprisingly high number of Filipino viewers on the channel. Behind the US, actually, the highest number of viewers are from the Philippines. I want to ask, if anyone is from the Philippines, how do you feel about Josie? Do you feel like she represents your culture? Because to me, she just seems really, really Japanese.
It's a good question, yo.
Well, while we're waiting for someone to answer that, I mean, Celina, Cuddle, what do you think of Josie Rizal?
Josie cries too much for me. Now, there's nothing wrong with showing emotion and passion. That's fine.
But it's a fighting game. They're warriors, right?
Right. But I think about it like when I compete or anybody else competes, there's a lot of people who shed tears, depending on how proud they are themselves. But I think what's happening here, it doesn't feel like passion. I think it's more like a whiny kind of cry.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the problem is. It's not like, I did it, yeah. And like maybe it's here like, like I'm doing it. There's a difference. What she's doing is literally like, how are you going to be like, you're finished, blah, 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 and then be like, like her voice, the dialogue that she has at the end and the tone is whiny. It's whiny. It's very, very whiny. And it's kind of just like, it's not well executed. The tone of her voice when she's saying when she's talking at the end, like I can't believe I won. Like, no, it should have been like, I can't believe I won. I'll get stronger, Like, there is all about tone, and I really think she's lacking something there.
Yeah. It's really inconsistent. Like, they never like. What is she? What is her personality? It just flip flops from highs to lows.
She knocks people out, but she cries at the end. I don't know.
Yeah. Celina,
I kind of feel like it's kind of a thing in Japan where like we tend to like characters that have a gap. We call it gap. What we mean by that is, like Josie, she's actually a very strong, as a person, she's very strong physically, but at the same time, she has this girly, very kind of like very fragile type of personality, and Japanese people like to match two completely different things into one. So for instance, like you might see in like an anime, you might see like a little girl holding like a really big sword that's like way bigger than herself. And like Japanese people like to do that kind of stuff. So I kind of think that Josie's like a really good example of what a lot of Japanese people like as a character.
Yeah, no, I got that impression too, that she's more of a Japanese character than a Filipino character. And then the biggest, like, the comments are telling me, like, yeah, there isn't really anything particularly Filipino about the way, she can.
I think there's another Filipino character in SoCal, Talam, and she seems to be really well loved by the community. I think she might be the only other Filipino, like in a big fighting game. Yeah. So I think she might be the other only Filipino character. And she seems to be really well received by in general. But yeah, I think Josie is just, I don't think she's a good design at all. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't like I don't like how infantile she is. It just seems really condescending. And I said this jokingly on Main Man's stream once, but like I'd be okay with Josie Rosal crying if Jin Kazama sucks his thumb, right? It just comes across as really condescending. I'm sorry, I don't like this character. And also I don't like her mechanically as well. I just think she's just like, learn when to duck the high in the string. She's very kind of a book learning kind of character. And yeah, if you measure up to Bruce, I'm sorry, no, I'm taking Bruce any day.
She's like I felt like she's a diet Bruce, like a really, really diet Bruce. And it's like I really think she could have been more of her own character too. She feels a little incomplete because I know like Josie players, like a lot of my friends are Josie players, which I find so funny, but they'll be like, kind of, we love our character, we stick with her, but like there's a lot of inconsistency about the character, and her backdash is something that people talk about. Some of her punishes, like they're good, but like it's just like lack of like certain things that she has in her tools. But backdash is one of like the biggest things they talk about. And I always felt like if she's a female character, she should have a little bit of a better backdash. More, she should be able to get away from certain things more as well. But there's this, I feel like there's this thing with, like, I see this a lot with Josie mains. Like they're like, man, we love our character, but it's also like, they're bound to her, but they also know that she has a lot of like inconsistencies. But they love her, so they stick with her.
Yeah. Her movement feels stodgy as well. I never found her particularly fun to play. Yeah, I just, she just seems like another like childish female character in the game filled with childish female characters. They're not all like that, but yeah, like she doesn't. What does she bring to the table, really? Like, yeah. Anyway, so Josie, we've done Josie. I think we've the Changs. Let's talk about the Changs, Julia and Michelle's. I know Fergus is very passionate about this. I personally love the Changs. I always thought they were my favorite kind of archetype, like female archetype in the game. I love the elbows, I love the throw game, I love the explosiveness of the characters. They've always been strong characters, but very unconventional. I think they're a massive triumph in many ways, but I do not like streamer Julia.
I don't either. And Michelle,
Likewise.
Huh?
she seemed like Julia's identity got changed too many times. You know, she went from being all about like, wasn't she like a lab person, and then she was supposed to be about the forest, saving the earth, whatever, nature. And how you go from that, then then it was very serious. We talked about this, super serious. Loved that about her. Had the deep voice,
She was a scientist, though. Like, she was like presented as really intelligent, and then it's just another ditzy, like, hey, check out my stream. And again, it's just condescending and infantile. It's just annoying.
It's a little disrespectful to all the character development they had with the character. Man, when I think about Julia from 3 to 4, she was my bad. Like her development, it was pretty dang solid. The moment it went away was 7, and I was very disappointed. Michelle, same thing. I wish they would have kept her around, maybe something. I liked her. I really liked Michelle. Tekken 2 and Tag 1 Michelle was wonderful. I loved how they made her. Still had that like very confident, like at the elbows, like, there's a lot of personality and like strength about her, like that presence alone, you knew, like, and very proud of where she came from. As a kid, you love to see stuff like that, and I wish they would have kept her around. So they could develop her a little bit more, like the June Asuka thing that could happen later.
Again, the other issue is, why not just have Michelle? Like, there are so many, like again, like, we can't have a female character that's over 30 or 40 or whatever. We have to replace them with an adoptive daughter. We have to freeze them. We can't portray them as intelligent. We have to turn them into like a Disney streamer. They have to cry. It's like in isolation, none of these characters are a problem. But when you see it as a whole, it doesn't paint a pretty picture, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm known for Asuka and June, but like Chang's would be a really close like third for me. Like I played Asuka and Julia for years in Type 2, and I played Julia way back in DR and Tekken 6 as well. I did like the whole like you said, like, she comes from this tribe, she's proud of it, she shows it in her design, especially in Tekken 7 it's like the whole streamer Julia thing, but one of her presets is like the foresty kind of, she has like the war paint, and she I think that was a really cool design. And like you said, Cuddle, they seem to like, they don't really know what they want to do with the character. Like in Tekken 3, she was like a very tribal kind of design, and in Tekken 4, she's a scientist, and in Tekken 5, they kind of had like a blend of both, and then Tekken 6 was the same, and then Tag 2, she's JC, she's a luchadora.
That was cool. That was a weird kind of.
Make that a whole other character then. I'm sorry. I don't know why they do that, but just make her a whole other character then. That could have been they could have done it. And she could have, and that character could have been a whole other character in this game, a new one. That would have been amazing.
Yeah.
But what you do? You made a wrestler. Which it was a cool hybrid, but it really didn't make sense. She has no identity.
Like she was Julia, but with a completely different personality, and then they did it again in Tekken 7. They turned her into a streamer. Now, I kind of like the streamer. I hate the whole like cutesy, moe kind of thing. I don't like this design in general, but like they did this with the character. But I do like the whole streamer aspect because it's like it's modern. It's I'm a streamer myself, so I can relate to. I love to like a little reference like she's almost like breaking the fourth wall in a way. Like she tells you to subscribe
that's funny.
to her.
I like that. That kind of stuff.
I just feel like she wasn't the one to do it. I feel like she should have the treatment.
You can't get a legacy character with an established personality, then transplant another personality onto this. It just smacks us really lazy. It's like you want to have your cake and eat it too. We want to have our legacy characters, but we like it just.
I don't know. Frustrating. But like Julia had a whole she's a tough girl. Like it shows in her playstyle. She's very explosive. All of her attacks have this like big impact to them. Yeah. So like she is a very like a strong character. But like, I just don't think they know what they want to do with her because like they changed her like 3 or 4 times throughout the whole series since her debut. They even replaced Michelle with Julia probably because they don't want to keep the old woman in the game, or they had to come up with some excuse to keep her young looking. Like in Tag 2, Michelle looks younger than Julia, even though she's supposed to be like at least 20 years older because she found Julia as a baby. So she's supposed to be like at least 20, 25 years older than her. But she looks younger than her, which was just odd.
Yeah, it's weird. Weird.
But I do think Tag 2 Michelle, the design was super good because the zebra scarf and the kind of the top and the denim shorts, like that's kind of like traditional Chang outfit, like the denim shorts and then some kind of like tank toppy.
From Tekken, yeah, like it's very like that was definitely something they had a lot of. She did.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I like Julia a lot. Like I wouldn't mind if Michelle came back and replaced Julia. I would not mind either. Like I like them both a lot. But they don't know what they're doing with the character. I think they're just very confused. Like they're trying to make the character suit. They're trying to like testing different things with the character and see how they can fit her to a certain audience or whatever. You know, like you had Luchador JC, and then you had streamer Julia, and then you had like the scientist Julia, and then you had like the mountain climbing Julia.
It's just, at this point, more characters are joke characters than serious characters. You know, comic relief is fine, and it's like whenever you say that, like, you know, there's always this argument, like, Tekken's always been funny. Tekken's always had these comedic characters, but it's come to the point now where it's the balance is really, really off. I kind of want to take this story seriously. I know it's about like bears and robots and devils like punching each other, but I don't know. You used to take yourself seriously. I kind of want to take it seriously again. Celina, what do you think about Julia or Michelle or? Yeah.
When I started Tekken 7, like I was familiar with the name Julia, and like I said, I played Tekken 3, so honestly, I didn't know it was the same person. I did not see, other than the hairstyle, I did not see like similarity there, and like the whole streamer personality. I'm guessing they were trying to be funny. They try to have humor there, but I didn't quite understand. I like how she plays though. I have a friend who plays her, and she's a really tough character to go up against.
Oh, she's super strong. Super strong.
Yes, she is, and I like her play style. However, her personality, it kind of seems odd to me as well.
Yeah, you know, no disrespect to Aru. I actually really like her. I had a chat with her the other day, and she's the sweetest person. But I think they might have based Julia's design on Aru because she kind of looks like her as well.
She does.
She did cosplay for her. Like when she was released, she did a cosplay of Julia, and it was strikingly like.
I thought Julia was cosplaying Aru, to be honest with you, in the game. Yeah, I think it's that. Yeah,
but like there's a video. I took a video when I was there when Julia was revealed in Amsterdam. You were there, Cuddle, then I think next to me, and you know I almost cried for the character because you know Marta came out. I was like, yeah, okay. Then Armor King came out. I was like, okay, whatever. I was starting to get like a bit let down, and then it just kind of zooms out, and it's just her holding the tablet. I exploded. Like there's a video on Twitter somewhere. I exploded completely, and I was just happy, you know. But the streamer side of Julia, I'm not too sure on. I think. Like I grew up with mountain climbing Julia, with scientist Julia.
Yeah.
So this one is, I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence about it.
How a scientist? Like she's always been a scientist. I just find it weird that they would change her from being a scientist. You know.
Stuff. They could have done something.
Yeah. All right. So next, well, we've talked about Alisa already in quite a bit of detail. I mean, I think we all like. We've all pretty much agreed that she's a very interesting character at her core. I just want to see that duality of the character explored more. Is there anything we want to add to that?
I think we fleshed her out, didn't we?
We before the stream started, we did think it's kind of messed up that, you know, Dr. Voskonovich, right, dead daughter, creates a robot in her form, but sees it fit to give her like jiggly silicone breasts as well. Like, it's your daughter, mate. Like, what are you doing?
Like, it was just a little odd because we can physically see her jiggling, and it's just like if the rest of her body is super stiff, like it's cold, it's cold hard metal.
Yeah.
Why would her chest be any different? Yeah, and Harada tried to have some funny excuse. But
Harada said shock absorbers, but it's like, I think for a robot you can get away with just standard, like, PlayStation 1 style.
I just don't understand. Like, it should have been that. I mean, literally, she had a whole outfit in Tekken Tag 2 that was like made by an artist, which was really cool, by the way. It's like white, and she had like this headpiece, and it was like she didn't have feet, and I thought that was so cool. It was like little stubs and like this really cool, like robo ballerina look. And her chest wasn't moving there, so really it does not move in any other way. It's kind of weird.
Japan has a thing for implausibly sexy robots, though. Like, like I'm thinking of Nier Automata here right now, but I really like 2B's design. But again, like, why is she so sexy again?
I don't know.
She's cool though.
I mentioned before the stream. Hani drew a human version of Alisa, like how she looks before she died, and then
it's wonderful.
The ballet art. I thought that's one of the best things I've seen, and it's such a shame that they didn't explore that aspect of Alisa.
I know
who she was before she was an android, a robot.
Yeah, there's such a romantic idea at the core of this character, and it's just never been explored. Again, there are so many cool ideas around these characters, but they've just never fleshed them out or executed them properly, which I find consistently to be a massive point of frustration with Tekken in general. So much potential, but just I wish you could kind of realize it.
I think the team, like an energy jolt given to the team, or like new faces put in, or more listening to players and the community, because we know what's up. Sometimes I think companies are a little stuck in their ways because of who's running them, and so but sometimes really listening to your audience is what will help save your game or make it bigger. So
I get the idea that a lot of people working on Tekken are just super duper old. I'd love to see some fresh blood on the team. I'm assuming massively here, but like you said, I think it needs a jolt. I think they kind of it seems to be running on like, again, it needs a jolt. Running on what's the phrase here? It's running on autopilot.
Yeah, like that. That's the Tekken term, so that works.
All right, so we've done the Chang, we've done Alisa, we talked Josie. Lucky Chloe, not a controversial character at all. Everyone loves her, adored by all. Lucky Chloe.
You go first.
Okay, I was just say I think she would have been perfect if they kept her personality from her ending. If they included that personality from her ending
in her moveset and in her gameplay. Yeah,
and in her intros or outros, like, she wins, she gets fed up, she kicks the camera away or something like that.
Like the Brian face punches.
right, something like that, right? Or she goes, "Oh, my job here is done," and then she takes off the idol outfit or whatever, something like that. Like, really if they did that, that would be a really nice twist on the character. I mean, they already went into her ending, but not a lot of people will watch the ending. Not a lot of people know about this character, but if they actually included that into her gameplay and her intros and her outros and her dialogue, I think she would actually be a really, really good character. She'd be like a parody.
She has potential, doesn't she? I think a lot of people are really quick to dismiss, like, oh, I hate this character, but it's the point of the character. She's supposed to be hyper annoying, but like, there has that self-aware side. I wish it was a bit more prominent.
Yeah, like, it would be like that's how I think idols in real life would be like. They put on this act for the show, and then in real life they're like different people entirely or whatever. So I think it would have been such a good parody of that for Tekken, but obviously wasted potential again.
Yeah, shit. I just want some Brian moves on her, like hatchet kick or something. That'd be hilarious. Celina, Cuddle, what are your thoughts on Lucky Chloe?
Well, I before I saw that ending as well, I just thought she was one of those cutesy characters. But when I saw that, I kind of instantly fell in love with her. Like, I don't use her or anything like that, but she just portrays, like what Fergus said, like a like an idol, like a Japanese idol, like that. They are probably totally different in their personal life compared to what they show us, and I like her.
Yeah,
personally,
she has potential, doesn't she? There's somewhere.
I just like I just wish that personality showed more in the actual fight. Right. Yeah. I think it's a waste.
Cuddle, what are your thoughts?
Sorry.
After I said I like her.
No. Hey, I'm glad people like her. The thing is, like, I see why people like her.
I don't like her, but this is the thing. I think she has potential. I think she has potential, unrealized potential.
She does, but this is my problem with the character. When I saw her, I said, "This is a joke." This design, like I think the design is not the best. Like the color choice and all that is kind of. I wish it was a little more harder, edgier, instead of it automatically defaulting to like maybe the more soft and feminine colors that we always see.
Yeah. I wish it was more of a street dancer. Wouldn't that be cool if she had like a
and that's what I thought it was kind of like because I thought her style of fighting could be more like a B girl, kind of like, give her a little bit more.
I can see
and
that.
I really didn't.
Straight. Cool.
Yes, and that's what, maybe a little more edgier colors, cool with the, like the headphones are cute, like whatever, or not headphones, they're headphones. No, whatever she has on her head, the cat stuff.
Maybe like more like a street kind of style, right?
Yeah, she still would have been fun, but I also think that her voice is kind of weird. Like when she attacks, it just sounds very like talk like you're like it just sounds.
I think it'd be really funny if she spoke imperfect Japanese, like with a really thick kind of gaijin accent.
That would be good. That would be good.
If she spoke Japanese like I did, I think that would be fantastic.
I just feel like the kind of like I think they went for a very like a design that we see very often, like just the type of character, like idols and stuff, which I think is really fun. I just wish they would have done a bit more with it because I'm not a fan of always seeing the usual, like things that I always see all the time, and I kind of want to see it a little mixed up a little bit, like spice it up, like make me interested. That's all.
I agree. Again, we've said this so many times, but it's like there is potential at the heart of this character, but it just hasn't been realized. The biggest failing, though, is that I think her gameplay is kind of boring as well. It's just kind of very a simplistic, pokey, watered down Xiaoyu kind of thing. What I was hoping for, I think what the idea with this character was to incorporate some elements of rhythm games into her gameplay. But in the end, they've done it in the most superficial way. Like during her rage arts, you can press a few buttons at the right moment. That's not it. I'm trying to think how you could incorporate rhythm into her fighting style better. But yeah,
I think in Persona 4 Arena, Rise, the character from Persona 4, she's like an idol character as well, where her supers have like a rhythm game to them that they do more damage if you time up the notes with the circles, like an Osu or something like that. So and then I think she incorporates like some rhythm stuff in her special as well.
Yeah.
So I think maybe Chloe could have something in that direction.
Yeah, like again, I think what we're trying to get is during her fights, make her be more of a psycho, make her more of a street dancer, and incorporate more rhythmy kind of stuff. But again, I think there is potential to this character, and I think she might be dropped for Tekken 8. But secretly, I think that might be a shame.
I'd say it's safe. Yeah, I think it's safe, so she won't be in Tekken 8.
Yeah, and I think that's a bit of a shame because like there is something there. But oh well. Next is Kazumi. We talked a bit about her before, but like I just wish she was like kind of scary, like a scary ghost character like Hisako. I've said this a bunch of times already. Her gameplay is easy style Mishima, which I guess is fine. She's a character designed to have beginners learn the game with. I think a fighting game needs a character like that to teach you fundamentals. But the training wheels Mishima shouldn't be stronger than actual Mishimas. She consistently does better than Kazuya, Heihachi, Devil Jin, even Devil Jin, who's always been the strongest Mishima in tournaments.
The execution is way simpler with that character, so it makes it easier for her to do those things. Yeah, I feel like she's definitely easier to use, more fluid. I think her game plan is very simple. It's kind of boring, but effective. Her design I like. I like that. The tiger was a little weird, but I think that's really cool.
There is a really subtle element of her design that shows she's dead. That her kimono, I think the right side is over the left instead of the left side being over the right. Celina, maybe you might know a bit more about this than me, but like her kimono's on, she's dressed like a dead person.
Yes.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, that's a super subtle like part of it. Anyway, what do you, Celina and Fergus? What do you think about Kazumi?
I think I really like the design.
Oh.
Or do you want to go first, Celina? Go
No,
on.
go ahead.
Okay. I think like coming from June, like she kind of fills the voids that June left in the series, in that she's like this mysterious Japanese like adult woman, right? So she kind of fills that void for June. So I picked her up in season 1 and I played her a lot. But I even have a sticker for her on my pads from way back then. But yeah, I think she is a good design. I think she's a really, really good design. Obviously, she could look a bit older, but I think they kind of made an excuse in the story that she died how she looked, so she's going to look like that for the series, right? For the game. But I do think she's a good design. Like I say, you know, she's an adult Japanese woman, very traditional Japanese woman. Like something like Aoi from Virtua Fighter or Ai from Virtua Fighter, sorry. You know, those kind of characters. You know, Aoi, sorry, yeah, I can never pronounce her name. But that kind of design. So I think she fulfills that role in Tekken 7, and I think she definitely has the place as well. And like someone said in chat, she's very polite. Yeah. You know, like I think she's a good design, and I mean, she won't come back. Like
she didn't say like, for Shietiaro. What did she say, Celina? It's a much more polite version of that.
What was that?
Well, Devil Jin says Kyo for Shietiaro, which is basically I'll show you the meaning of fear, but she says it in a super polite way. Like
yes,
like please allow me to show you the meaning of fear. It's
she's she's a very typical like old-fashioned Japanese lady. I think that's one thing that really shows that, you know, she's probably not a person that's, you know, in our time. She's definitely someone that lived way back then, you know, just like Heihachi. But like Arya said, I wish they made it more obvious, like she's actually a ghost. Like maybe make her a little bit scary, because otherwise I wouldn't know she was dead. Chat told me while I was chatting, you know, while I was streaming, and well, because they mentioned she's Heihachi's wife, and I was surprised. Oh, he has a very, very young wife, and they're like, no, she's dead. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
That's right. She has Kyofo Oshiete Sashiagemasu. Sashiagemasu, which is like, a super polite form. Like, super old-fashioned.
The meaning of
I love the tiger as well. I love one of my favorite quotes in the game is her saying "good kitty." I don't know what she says in Japanese, but she says "good kitty" and she pets the tiger. That's one of my favorite win poses in the game. I think it just shows kind of like another side to her. Like, you know, she's just like she's just a woman who has a pet tiger and she pets the tiger. I don't know, Ikone, that's it, Ikone or whatever. But I think she's amazing design. But I like June a lot, so I might be kind of biased from there.
I secretly want to see a June versus Kazumi face off in Tekken 8. I think that would be super cool. And they're both like possessed back from the dead. Yeah. Okay, so next is Katarina Alves. I really hate to shit on this character. I really do not like this character, actually. But I'll say that her voice actress is one of the sweetest people and so supportive of the Tekken community. I just wish they'd given her a more interesting character to voice. And I mean this mechanically. I really don't like her gameplay style at all. And actually, when I first saw her design, her concept design, I thought she looked really cool. Even if it was blatantly like a copy-paste from Shakira, is it? She's playing, like... Isn't it Shakira?
No, not Shakira. And it's Anastasia.
Anastasia, that's right.
Yeah.
It's Anastasia. So I think her costume is cool, but I find her animations really awkward. Like her standing animation, she's kind of like standing in this really awkward pose with her hand here, like I'm a little teapot. and it's like shoving her breasts out in the most unnatural way possible. I just wish she had more fluid, organic animations. She just looks,
I think,
off.
like, yeah, I loved it. I love Katarina. I love the design. Like, I met like a few Brazilian friends here in Dublin, and I showed her to one of them, and I said, "Is this accurate? What do you think of this character?" And he said, "The accent. I mean, of course, the voice actress is authentic. Yeah, authentic Brazilian. So the accent was fine. The lines were fine. Like, it kind of fits." But he said, the outfit was not accurate at all. Like, no Brazilian woman wears this outfit normally or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So he said that was pretty inaccurate. But he said the voice line and the dialogue would be very typical of a Brazilian woman, like the hot-headed, kind of cocky, sassy kind of dialogue.
I think like they, we talked about gender swapped Raven, but I feel like Katarina should have been black. Really.
I would have liked her to be black, but I mean, even the ethnicity she is, like, it works. It's just, for me, it felt like it was more like her fighting style was kind of like, it was lacking a lot, in my opinion. I think she's really strong, but it's just kind of, it was very simple. And then the design of the outfit just seemed a little much. I think it was overly sexualized, and I usually don't feel that way about stuff. Like, usually I'm like, but it just seemed like a bit too much, for no reason. Especially given all that she's doing. I feel like the Tekken Mobile. I think the Tekken Mobile outfit seemed nicer for this than whatever she's got going on. The stamp on the back was kind of the front was a little much. I don't know. I feel like they try to make this really hot fighter, which I get, but I just don't feel like it was. I don't think it was well executed.
Yeah, like the only thing I like on her is like the peacock-looking coat. I think that looks really cool.
That's cool. That makes sense. Actually, I want to talk about that. I feel like the different themes for the clothing don't match. I feel like they were mixing and matching the outfit too much. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, I think I'm a bit biased because I just like that culture from Brazil. Like, I like it a lot. Like, and not many people know, but I actually kind of mains Katarina in season 1 and most of season 2. Like, I didn't have Julia, I didn't have Anna. So before DLC, Katarina was like my true secondary, and she was like, I was 50-50 with her and Asuka and Katarina in season 1 Tekken World Tour. So I don't know. I just like the style. I like the cocky, hot-headed. It's just similar to Asuka. It's just from a different country, from a different background. Like the hot-headed, cocky kind of style. I'm going to beat you up. And she shows it in her voice lines. She shows it in her dialogue. I'm going to send you to hell and back.
I think her voice lines are like one of the best. Like, her voice actress is fantastic, and we said before. But the best thing about Katarina is her voice and her voice actress. She adds so much flavor and personality to her.
Yeah, but I don't know. With story-wise, I don't know what they want to do. Or like, oh, she's Giga's daughter. There you go. I'm just there. Like,
what is that?
What?
Where did they pull that out of?
Well, yeah, it's like, what? So I don't think she's gonna come back. Like, she's probably gonna be those characters that, okay, she's in Tekken 7 now, she's never gonna come back. But I do like her a lot. I love the design a lot. Like, I do.
I love the fact that Gigas has a second name, Gigas Alves.
Did you actually have a real name?
He's her daughter.
Wait, what? No, he actually has that last name.
No, he doesn't. I'm sure he has an actual name before they made him Gigas. But just it's fun to think about Gigas Alves.
Okay, my bad.
Celina, what are your thoughts on Katarina?
I personally like her personality, but she's one of those characters that not like it doesn't stick to my memory. Like, she's like you guys said, her fighting style doesn't really it's not very unique in my opinion. So like, I really don't. She's one of those characters that I'll probably forget as time goes by. She's just which is kind of a waste because I do like her personality. So they could have made her a little better in my opinion.
Yeah, like her gameplay was basically, I think, reading interviews at the time, she was expressly designed for beginners. But Kazumi was also expressly designed for beginners, and Shaheen was also expressly designed for beginners. I think she's a step too far in that. Like how many characters like that do you need? Like, I think a few are enough. Like, the more interesting characters are going to be the ones that are more expressive. You need a beginner-friendly character, don't get me wrong, and a bit of variety so you can pick. But it's too many, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so next, Zafina. I really like her redesign in Tekken 7.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best.
Very good design.
Yeah.
Very good design for sure.
I like how she's actually strong in Tekken 7 as well.
She
kind of OD. Like they kind of really made her strong, like overly.
Yeah,
but it's
a bit too much. Yeah.
But strong character. She's great in 1v1 Tekken. Hey, that makes sense to me. But I also like that she's mysterious. You know, didn't she like fight at real Azazel?
Azazel, yeah.
Yeah, she took him on, right? And now she has his hand. That's cool. That's unique.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I like that she's always been like dark and like mythical. So that makes sense that she's even more mythical here. She's like, I can see in the crystal orb looking like that's just so cool. The purple is all perfect, kind of like I like the purple color scheme for Zafina that also kind of feels very magical. So it's something about her that's always otherworldly. So I think they did a really good job with her.
She reminds me of Fiola from Soul Calibur 5. Like similar color theme, similar design, like, and I love Fiola. I think she's an amazing design, and I think Zafina was like a bit similar, and and she's like aesthetically very beautiful, but not in like an overdone way, but in a very subtle way, with the eyeshadow, with the hair, with the Tekken 7 default eye fish is super well done. So I think she's one of the better designs, like not just for female characters, but overall in the game. Like she's one of the better designs for sure.
Yeah. I completely agree. Celina, what are your thoughts on Zafina?
She's one of those very tricky characters to go up against, and I really like she has her own way of fighting, and I also like her business woman. Her costume. Yeah, I like seeing that. She's really unique, and I really like that.
Yeah, Zafina was a character I didn't like until Tekken 7, and then now she's maybe she is my favorite female character in the game. Maybe right next to like Julia in terms of gameplay, but Zafina in terms of pretty much everything else, and quite close in terms of gameplay. I think she's quite interesting. As you said, she manages to be beautiful and feminine and strong without just being a trope or I think she's fantastic. Yeah, I really like Zafina. Bravo. So next is Ling. So yeah. Thoughts? I like my personal thought on Ling is like she's designed to be an annoying character to play against, and the way to beat her is to make her play her own game and do it better than her. Which I think is really interesting. I like labbing against Ling for that reason. It's quite satisfying when you turn the books against the Ling. But my big thing with Ling is that I feel she's been like 17 since Tekken 3, which is like she's just the eternal teenager, and I would love to see her mature into like at least a more sophisticated lady in her 20s. Like, does she always have to be just like, I get that being annoying is a part of her gameplay design and that matches her character, but I just want to see a bit of refinement.
I agree. Ling has been too young for a really long time. It's actually like she can mature a bit more now. She's kind of mature, but I don't think she's mature enough. Like, you know,
her new
even
her Fated Retribution costume is really cool though. But
it's really nice. Like, the designs are really nice. I just wish they would evolve her a bit more. Enough with the pigtails. I think that's really tired. It's like okay, and that's part of her. But now I think she's getting older. So like, even if we did have at least a hair down option Ling for the 2P would be really cool, because that also matures like somebody's face. 2 different hairstyles do. Certain looks do. Maybe we get rid of the pink altogether. Maybe they go for like maybe a very serious like red or like
green or something.
You know, it's just I love Ling, but I think they've really just kind of been sticking to this. Oh, well, you know, she's still like the peppy, you know, 18-year-old or something who's kind of matured, but not really.
Yeah. Because Jin's kind of grown up. Well, he's grown more emo over the years. I really miss cocky Tekken 3 Jin. He's just turned into an absolute bore, hasn't he? But I wish, like with Ling, if they made her hair longer or something, I think that would look really cool to show that she's aged a bit. Like, what do you think, Celina?
I think she's just one of those typical characters in Japanese fighting games that they probably won't change, even in the future. Like, even if she does age, they will probably portray her as the way she is, like typical, you know, pigtail schoolgirl kind of, no matter how old she is. And like Cuddle said, it would be nice if they can kind of show how she aged, depending, like, from her clothes or from her hairstyle. But I think they don't do that on purposely. That's my opinion, though. Like, they want to keep her the way she is. And I just, that's the way, that's how I feel. Yeah. About her.
Like, if
I think,
sorry, go on.
So I think I actually like her old personality. I like the clumsy, you know, she's kind of cocky, but she's like clumsy as well at the same time. You know, she slaps her butt at you and says bye-bye, or she just falls on the ground and smashes it or whatever. I like those win poses. Like, I thought, like, if there was a character to suit this purpose of like being, you know, annoying. a little annoying klutzy girl, like, I think Xiaoyu is the perfect example for that. Yeah. But then the problem is they start introducing characters that are like her more and more. Like in Tekken 3, she was like the only character of that kind of design, like the little cutesy girl. But then they start introducing a lot more: Lili, Asuka, Alisa, and so on. Josie, Chloe. So she kind of lost her identity a little bit in that sense. Yeah. But I think up to a certain point, she was a good design. I mean, she had a role and she was there for certain people, you know. Yeah. But
yeah, I think you nailed it, Fergus. Like, back in Tekken 3, she was quite unique. But now they've done so many other, like, happy-go-lucky, ditzy, cutesy characters that I feel there's really a path for her to actually mature now a bit, and that would make the character more interesting. Like characters in Street Fighter mature. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of what they did, for example, with Sakura in Street Fighter 5. I don't think she looks as interesting, but they do mature, and that's cool. That's cool to see.
And when she asked Ryu if they want to have kids together or something like that, or like she asked that kind of subtly, she actually said that in her storyline.
Direct.
Yeah, well, not directly, but she kind of hints at it with Ryu in her storyline, you know. But she goes on to like talk about, you know, growing up and is it worth fighting, and you know, she gets really deep for out of nowhere for her kind of character. She gets surprisingly very deep, and thought provoking in her storyline. Like, she was always portrayed as a schoolgirl in the, like, Alpha series and Street Fighter 4 and so on. But then in Street Fighter 5, she's like a college girl. She's working part-time to make ends. You know, it's a bit more like a realistic portrayal of the character. Yeah. And I think they're doing something similar to Xiaoyu. Right? Yeah, she works in the arcade. I have a poster of my room of her in there. But she, like, it's like a realistic portrayal of her. You know, she working in an arcade. She's making ends meet. And I think they're going to something similar to Xiaoyu, minus the whole working part, but like... Yeah. More mature approach to the character. Like, you know, here's a character from your childhood that you've known for so long. Now we're just gonna like make her a little bit different, like make her grow up as you grow up. We want to make the characters grow up with you, so we're gonna kind of show this off. Yeah, so
I agree. So I agree completely with everything you said. Like something I really like about Street Fighter 5 is that it allowed characters to grow. Like, I love what they did with Cody, for example. Like, he's actually cleaned himself up to become like a proper man now. I'm kind of curious to see what they'll do with Rose. She's now a teacher, you know. Yeah, so that makes me excited to see what they'll do with her. And they did this with Tekken 4. They actually developed the characters, they progressed them, they changed their costumes, and then in that sense, Tekken 5 felt very reversionist. It's like, oh no, you know, Paul gets his dumbass hair back again. You know, everyone just went back a step. So I really hope they do something. They push these characters forward. So on the topic of Ling, Miharu, she's only playable in one game. She's kind of a side note character. Most people are like, Miharu, what?
4.
Oh yeah, 4. That's right. Like, I have no opinion on Miharu, really. I don't think she's ever going to come back. I know Fergus is really keen on Miharu.
I understand completely that she's a bad design. Like her design is horrible. I get that, but she just had this like campy kind of like someone said in the chat that's actually perfect. She's like Princess Daisy to Princess Peach, right?
Right.
She's like the lesser
the budget version,
popular character. Yeah, exactly. But
that's part of
some
the
people
charm.
might find. Yeah, it's part of the charm. It's part of the appeal. Like some people might find this aesthetic nice, like, and also in Tekken 4, she was literally just a generic schoolgirl. Short brown hair, school uniform. It's just very generic. And Tag 2, I don't know what they wanted to do with her. Like they just made her into like this beach girl or wherever. She had the bikini, the colorful bracelets, the nail polish. So
her selfie
I don't
throw,
know.
though. Let's talk about the selfie throw. Do you know what this is, Celina? Have you seen Miharu's selfie throw?
I haven't.
I think yeah. Like I'll send you the link after, but it's probably my favorite throw the entire game in the entire series. Like
what's funny was actually when she was released for a few days. Now I don't know if this is the case on PS3, but on Xbox for a few days that grab was unbreakable.
Oh what?
It was unbreakable. I don't know if you remember this, Cuddle. I don't know if you played back in the early Tag 2, but when she was released, her selfie grab was unbreakable. You literally had to duck against it to get away from it. And they had to hotfix the same week she was released. They had to hotfix this for a while she had literally the best grab in the game.
That's
with the selfie grab.
What a grab to do it with as well.
like if she ran up to you had to hard duck it because you literally could not break it.
What is this? What, Miharu was secretly the best character in game? What?
Like she literally could be the best character in Tag 2 during that period.
That's amazing.
But it was also the same period where Kunimitsu could duck mids by just crouching.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, her hitbox on her crouch was so low that she just evaded a bunch of bits.
Pretty
The
cool.
only interesting thing about that character ever.
But yeah, I just like the whole campy kind of aspect to Miharu. Like she was the inferior version, obviously, but I don't know. She just I can't describe it. I just like her. Like I even have an emoji with her as well.
I get the appeal, like the budget B tier version of Ling. Like Cuddle, do you have an opinion on Miharu?
I used to use double Ling and Alisa Ling in Tag 2, and I liked the Oki options and like using double AOP. I liked the clone team. It was really, really fun. I knew her as Xiaoyu's friend and that they were the perfect pair. I like that. I think her personality wasn't really fully realized in it, but that wasn't the point. They were friends, and I knew about the relationship from Tekken 4, and that was cool. And I was like, wow, it reminds me of the good old days. So it just reminded me of that. And it really was more of like a sentimental thing for me because I'm like, oh, Miharu, you're so fun. Like, this is Xiaoyu's friend. She's the one who's like, oh, you like Jin? Was it a tearful goodbye? She's like, stop it, don't you say it. Like, and I just think about that, and it's just really funny because they're very fun. They're very like playful, but like they are one of the scariest clone teams in Tekken Tag.
Super
so
frustrating.
I think about that. Miharu was cool.
Yeah.
Didn't really have a personality, but that was Xiaoyu's friend, and Team AOP was everything.
Yeah, and they had like a tag throw together where if you do down 1+2 with Miharu, like is there a throw where she just bumps up you. But if you tag buff for it, they got a tag throw together where Xiaoyu throws them around. No, sorry, Miharu throws them, Xiaoyu jumps over them, and then they kind of clap each other's hands after.
Yeah. That was a fun one.
Favorite. I just go, yay! I'm like, I miss that.
I don't see why there's any reason not to bring her back as like a palette swap for Xiaoyu. Just like if you or a character or a costume for Xiaoyu. I mean, there is a small but ardent fan base for her. I'm sure some people will be happy. I
mean, except she's never going to come back. She's just a Tag 2 like dream character or whatever. But I can still appreciate the character.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, so talking about like clone characters, let's talk about Christie.
I don't say anything. I don't say anything. The stands are going to come after me again.
Well, like there is this. Like let's just be out with it. Christie fans are insane. Like legitimately, like psychopaths. Like if you insult Christie, they are out for your blood. I will
show you a tweet Like I tweeted like a selfie of myself today, and I will show you what one of them said to me. Like out of the blue, like this is one of the Christie stands. It's probably like the
I've
same
sealed
person
my doom right
times.
now by saying that. I'm
Oh my god, I've seen this person's name. Oh
Yeah,
my god,
like,
this person's
they
name.
hate me. I love them, but they hate me.
Like this person's name in regards to Christie. Jesus Christ.
hold on, let me check this out.
like just straight up, just said that. But the thing is, I actually like Christie. I actually like Christie, that's the thing. I just take the piss out of them because they're idiots, but I actually like Christie a lot. Like, I don't want to showcase my whole statue collection at this point.
I think we're going to eventually. We can see all of it.
I actually have one of Christie as well. Like, I actually like the character a lot, but I can be realistic and, like, she doesn't have a place in Tekken 7.
Yeah.
I think she could have a place, but she has to be very different than Eddie. Because she'll end up just being a palette swap, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If they just said, okay, here she is, but like she's no different. So make some things very noticeably different about her, because she has been in the game and multiple Tekken games, and they really could do more with this character. And give her a bit more depth, give her a bit more edge to her personality. I'm all for it. Give her a little bit more, because she felt kind of flat to me as a personality as well. But if I think they buff that and then give some really noticeable differences in like how she does capoeira, it could be like really cool.
Yeah. But then again, I would just think if you want to keep the roster lean and clean for Tekken 8, she's just bloat. And I mean, Celina, do you know much about Christie?
No, is she pretty similar to Eddie, the way she fights?
Yeah,
or?
she's basically like in Tekken 4 they took out Eddie, they replaced him with Christie, and they basically use the same fighting style, same moveset. I think that the main difference between them is Eddie has in Tag 2 is Eddie has longer legs, so he has better neutral, but Christie has a better throw game, better Okizeme off her throws. So there's some subtle differences.
Yeah. Like I made a video on like the whole like Tag 2 clone series, and then I did one in Eddie and Christie and Tiger, and that is like what you said. Like Christie literally just had different grabs, better grabs than Eddie, but she had slightly less range than Eddie.
Yeah.
But her combos were like auto timing. Like Eddie had to time the combos a bit, but Christie because it's style the mesh.
Okay.
Unlike the exact same combos.
Okay. So a bit easier, better throws. Would you say Eddie was the better character overall, or Christie? About the same.
Range wise, because of the slightly more range, I would think so, yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, combos won't be a problem in the end. Like if you practice the combos, you can do them anyway. That like there shouldn't be a factor. So I think Eddie was a little bit better just because of range, yeah.
Okay. And on the topic of, should we even mention this? Panda. Panda's a panda.
I mean,
I find Panda more iconic than Kuma. I think Panda's the more used one. I don't know why. Probably yet again, maybe it's a range thing, but Panda seems to be used a lot more. And I think the fact that she's connected to Xiaoyu, I think really plays a huge role as well. So they have that really great relationship. Kuma is just a joke. Like that character, he's such a goofball, but everybody loves Panda. She's just so endearing.
You gotta have both Kuma.
Yeah,
I can't imagine.
I love the bears.
Yeah, you gotta have the bears if you have Tekken.
I see, but Kuma's just really like, what does he do? Like, I get what he does, but they should have made him more interesting. Panda's got a personality. I don't feel like Kuma does. I think that's my biggest problem is that he doesn't have much of a personality.
The bear has no personality.
That's what Panda does.
I feel the other way around. Like Kuma has like a arc. He has a story. He's Heihachi's buddy. He has he's longing for Panda, and Panda's whole story arc's like, no, thanks, Kuma.
Longing for Panda. I think I just fainted.
The longing.
He's been hitting on her since forever, for years, right?
Yeah. It's the Tekken 3.
Jesus.
Right.
I mean, I love them. I think they should be in the game. I love them. I think they're goofy. They're funny. Like they bring a whole like different uniqueness into the game. Like they should stay. Like they're funny.
Of course. I my only slight quibble is I just feel they should be on the same the same spot on the character select screen. I think they should be palette swaps. It's people for the sole reason that the first video I put on TBS was the Tekken 7 character overviews, and people still to this day ask me, "Where's Panda?" Where's Panda?
Mhm.
It's like it's Kuma. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Slash Panda. They literally they did that in Tekken 2. Just keep that crap. Because that's what happened. They literally you click one and then like you click another button on the same slot, it becomes Panda.
Yeah.
No, not Panda, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was later, I'm sorry, it's later. But I'm pretty sure they shared the same slot at one point. But then they changed it. If I recall correctly, if they did whatever. But I'm pretty sure they did. Just like Angel and Devil.
Yeah.
You I think you could select that too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Ling, Miharu, Kuma, Angel, they're the same thing. So just keep on the same slot. Sling, do you have any thoughts on Panda?
I liked her since Tekken 3. The whole story was very cute.
Cute.
I personally like if they were gonna keep Panda, I want Kuma. Yeah, I want both of them in the same game if that's possible.
No, you have to have both.
Like,
the
maybe
yin
in
and
the
yang.
same spot, but-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that she copies Xiaoyu a little bit. Like she has her like little the pose like where
Right.
she does this.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that's amazing. Yeah. I love that and that she has a wee Xiaoyu doll on her waist as well. So she's showing her loyalty to Xiaoyu. But I think one of my single favorite thing in any fighting games in any esports history was Rongju winning with Panda
Oh, of course.
in 2018. That I saw that live. I was there for it. I was amazed. Like even Harada was shocked. I was like, Panda, really? And like, I thought that was just like such an important moment in any fighting game history. That's such a low tier. That's such a character that never gets any recognition in like ever. To suddenly win the world finals.
It's one of my favorite things about the Tekken 7 in general. One of my favorite moments, along with Arslan just coming in and just, showing the world what Pakistan's capable of. But that whole, that was amazing. I loved it.
That was single favorite moment in anything ever.
Oh, well, yeah, no, it's up there for sure.
But yeah, that's it. Panda's amazing. Keep her in the game. She's funny.
Yeah, I love her. Cuddle, did you want to add something? Did I interrupt you? Or?
No, because I talked about Panda already, I think. But yeah, I think I honestly like Panda a lot more than Kuma. But like I was talking about the relationship that her and Xiaoyu have, I like that a lot. And Rangchu won with her. And I think that's really huge. You can't really ever forget that. For that, one of those reasons alone, keep that bear in the game.
For sure. And again, I just can't imagine them without one another. Like Kuma can't exist without Panda, Panda not without Kuma. So, the unrequited love of pandas. Next is Leo. Now this is kind of controversial because like in Tekken Tag 2, Leo is clearly a woman, clearly, and I think in 6 it's highly suggested that Leo is a woman. And then certainly in Tekken 7, they're referring to Leo as he. I guess the idea with this character is that the gender ambiguity is intentional because they designed Leo to equally appeal to male and female players, and that's kind of an interesting concept. But I mean, what do you guys think about Leo?
Leo, I never really knew about Leo's gender. People don't seem to know. A lot of people don't seem to know anything about Leo in regards to that. But aside from that, Leo, I know Leo has a backstory, but I don't know too much about it. It seems kind of bland.
I find it kind of bland. Yeah. Concept interesting, but I just find it boring, Leo, honestly.
But really, really strong. Season 1 specifically. But in general, very, very strong character. I wish Leo was used more. It's weird because I guess Leo's in this weird spot where Leo has all the tools, but it's like risky compared to like, and maybe with Leo you have to do a lot more now compared to like other characters who can get easier access to damage quicker. But it's sad because I really liked Leo. And it's unfortunate nobody uses Leo anymore. Really.
Yeah.
I think for me, because I played Tide 2 for 5 years, and Leo was like obviously a girl in Tide 2. Should bikini and everything. But I think they don't know what to do with the character. They intentionally left the character to be up to the player. If you want to see Leo as a boy, you want to see Leo as a girl, or whatever. I think they just purposely left it up to the player.
Yeah.
I think their intention with the character was like, you don't have to pick a character based on gender. You can pick a character based on their design and how to play or whatever.
Right.
So I think that's what they want to do with Leo. Like they want to remove this this factor of a gender, and then just if you like Leo, play Leo. Regardless of gender or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that was the intention behind the character.
I mean,
story wise, like in Tag 2, Steve and Leo were some of the characters, were some of the only characters with a canon ending.
They're raised by the same mother, but they still haven't met in the story. That's the interesting thing.
Yeah, and then in Tekken 7, they just made Leo a joke character. Like she pokes Yoshi's tentacle, and it's like, pokey tentacle.
That is a fucking ending. That's a weird ending. That's a weird ending.
Like that's an ending that actually happened after this whole build up in Tag 2 of her finding her mother. She's dead. She raised Steve. Blah blah blah, and then pokey Yoshi. Like what?
Yeah.
What?
You thought it was building up to something, wasn't it? But nah.
Yeah. And then literally nothing.
I thought it was building up to Steve and Leo having some kind of story together. I mean, that's what they were hinting at. But nah. Like on the whole topic of Leo's gender being ambiguous, I mean, I don't know. I think I might prefer them just having an openly non-binary character instead of this kind of non-committal approach to it. But then again, I can see what they were going for. The idea that, as you said, gender is not a factor at all. It's not that Leo's non-binary, so that gender is completely off the table. But they still refer to Leo as he or she. So I don't know. To me, it just feels like a slightly confused, non-committal idea. Like, Celina, what are your thoughts on Leo?
I had a hard time because I didn't know the backstory of Leo. So I didn't know whether to refer Leo as a he or a she. But so I guess it's safe to say he for Tekken 7.
He. Now it's he. I mean, like somebody said in the chat, like the German pronoun he refers himself to. I'm not going to try and say it because my German's terrible. But yeah.
With the character itself, a lot of female players down here in Japan like him, and I know a few players who main him. So he's definitely, I would say, visual wise, he's like one of the kind of a popular character among girls over here in Japan, I would say.
Oh, really? Interesting. Yeah, I always thought he or she reminded me a bit of Rock Howard from King of Fighters. And they're clearly inspired by Rock Howard. And honestly, I know people want the meter characters to go, but I would kind of love to see in Tekken 8 or whatever, I'd love to see Rock come in, because the whole game storyline wise is about family trauma, and I think the Howards, Geese, and Rock would be a really cool counterpart to the Mishimas. And I've always liked Rock as a character anyway. So yeah.
I don't know if you know the size. I don't know if you know the gacha game King of Fighters All Stars. Like I play it a lot, and they had a Tekken collaboration, and one of the storylines was King from King of Fighters meeting King from Tekken.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, you have my name," or someone said King, and they're like, "Who?" You know. So like they're aware of like the similar namings and stuff like that. They played with the idea in the collaboration.
Is that the mobile game, the King of Fighters?
Yeah, I play it every day.
You're addicted, huh? I played it for a little bit too. I loved it when they brought in the WWE characters and the SNK characters, and you had Rock Howard meeting The Rock.
Oh yeah, like, no, my team is like
Johnson, like The Rock.
Yeah, like I have Zero, The Rock, and Jin as my main team in the KOF game. That's like a very viable team as well.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I want to play it some more, but like it's annoying because whenever I play it, like they never have the like I couldn't access the Tekken characters. I only had the SNK characters. You have to play at the right time.
There were time exclusive. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, and I guess the last character we haven't talked about is Eliza. who I think it's pretty much confirmed now that she was possibly the most underrated character on the roster. I think everyone pretty much agrees that she's pretty damn strong now, and everyone was just playing her the wrong way for the longest time. Though that Moonglide 4 buff definitely changed things up quite a bit, but even still, I think she's been very underrated. But personally speaking, I actually think her gameplay is kind of interesting. She's kind of like a keep out meter based character. So it's very different to Akuma and Geese in that respect, but I really dislike her design. I think they were going for like a campy, like hammer horror style thing with her.
That's exactly what I love about her. Like, she's like Vampira.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Like a 70s horror kind of aesthetic, and I just think it's kind of ugly, to be honest. I get what they're going for, but I'm not sure if anyone's seen Honey's redesign, but I infinitely prefer that. Just have Honey design all the characters. She's great.
Just put her on the team. Like,
right?
No, like, I'm a huge like horror fan, like slasher kind of fan. So I think Eliza like really suits, like what you said, like a 70s or 80s kind of horror monster film or whatever. So she looks something out like that, and I think I really like the design a lot. Like, I play her a lot myself, so I personally love the design. I would hope she will come back, but maybe with like less 2D stuff, like maybe similar to how she was in Tekken Revolution, which was her introduction.
Yeah.
But I do hope they kind of tone down the 2D a bit and make her more of a complete character in the Tekken sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. So Cuddle, Celina, thoughts on Eliza?
She's cool. I think it's funny, she's like a 2D Tekken character, which I find very unique. It's very funny just to see how Tekken and 2D really are kind of combined. I know now she's seen as stronger. I think a lot of people already knew she was strong, but not enough people used her. Some did, but still execution involved. So I think sometimes that stops people from using her. But I always knew she was strong. A lot of us knew she was strong. But to me, she always felt very situational, where especially if you're at the ball, you're gonna have to pray to Jesus because her wall game's pretty dang nice.
Yeah.
It's some nice Oki sometimes, and she has a couple things to struggle with, but I think she still struggles a lot. And I think they could maybe tweak her a little bit to make her stronger. And like, I think Fergus was talking about, toning down the 2D part, making her more like a bit different. But yeah, I think her design's all right. I think they need to change that a little bit too. It feels a little too old school.
Yeah. Cuddle, thoughts on? Sorry, Celina, thoughts on Eliza?
Like I told you before on my on the past Wavedash, my highest rank is Vindicator, and I do not go up against. I do not find any players using her, so
she's hard to use.
With that, I was guessing she is because I do not match anyone who plays her. But with that being said, design-wise, I actually like how she looks. She's very unique. I just like that. I like horror games, so I just like her aesthetic in general. And I hope maybe they can change a few things, but I hope she would be in the future Tekken games as well. I mean, maybe a little bit easier to use, because honestly, if she was a little bit more easier, I might pick. I won't drop King, but I might, have her as a second character to use.
No, I think they could actually do that with Akuma as well. I think he'll be more popular if he was weaker, but easier to use. I think people would have accepted that character more. But let's not turn this into another Akuma.
I was going to say something like, I would rather they'd stop nerfing the character and just remove him completely. That's what I think. But that's a topic for another time.
Yeah, that's a for another time. I like Akuma, as you know. I'm standing with Akuma. Like with Eliza, I think I have the opposite opinion to some of what Cuddle and Celina was saying, is that mechanically I think she's really interesting. I think she brings something new to the table. I really dislike her aesthetically though, and I would like her to be a bit more of a, like, she's another joke character with the whole like biting you and like her breasts enlarged when with blood sacs, and it's so dumb. It's so dumb. Like a vampire has to be beautiful and elegant and all that kind of jazz. Like, can she just be more vampiric? Can she be a bit more cool? Like, not just another joke character.
So funny, just with blood sacs. Whoa!
Literally blood sacs.
So when she sucks on somebody's blood, her boobs get bigger.
Yeah, basically. This was a thing definitely in Revolution. Does this still happen in Tekken 7? Like, do they enlarge when?
No, they don't. But in TR, you could buy her with like blood runes or something like that, like a currency like you earn in game, and so you unlock a character, then you unlock bigger breast Eliza. It was a separate thing. So like it was a costume you could select for her, and it was literally the same character. It was literally the same costume. Just her boobs were bigger. Yeah.
So dumb. But yeah, like I wouldn't actually be I wouldn't mind if Elisa came back. I just want them to take a bit more seriously as a vampire. Like, vampires are cool, I think. They're not joke characters. All right. So like we've kind of gone through the entire roster of Tekken. There are a few more topics on the doc, but I want to ask how everyone's doing in terms of time, exhaustion. Because we've been at this, like, between part 1 and part 2, we've been at this for, like, quite a while now.
Yeah, I think, I'll be honest, I think I might dip out really soon, or, like, now.
Yeah.
Same.
No worries, we've been at this forever. And I think a lot of the points we were going to talk about regarding Mortal Kombat 11 and Cammy and Street Fighter and Aerith's face changes and Chloe's face changes, we've kind of covered these topics already whilst going through the roster.
I think someone said Angel. Maybe.
Oh, Angel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Angel. Should we just quickly do Angel to finish it off? Angel.
Okay. Well, the first thing I would say is I'm positive they based her off the Irish actress Saoirse Ronan, because there's a picture of Angel and there's also a picture of Saoirse Ronan, and they look identical, like completely identical. Like, I'll try and find the picture now. You guys can talk away. I'll try and find this picture.
Go for it. Like, again, Angel, nobody played her in Tag 2 because she was terrible. Like, she was one of the worst characters in the game. I guess as a palette swap, she might be fine, but man, like,
it does look like.
Let me see. Hold on. Did you put it on Discord?
I just linked it in the chat there.
Okay, let me.
Well, it looks just like her. Holy crap!
I'm convinced they based her off Saoirse Ronan.
In the group chat, really? I can't.
The normal, like the Twitch chat. Oh no! Oh, and the Discord.
Yeah.
Right.
I put in Discord now.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Wow, that's uncanny.
That's her, right? That's her.
It looks
pretty.
Holy crap! It's just, I don't know. I feel like Angel was better designed in 2 and Tag 1. I don't know. I don't think her Tag 2 version was that good, but her voice, even in Tekken 2, was awesome. I felt like Angel was like her own character, even though they were very similar. She was very similar to Devil. I liked that she had her own presence. That was really fun. Like, that old school Tekken 2 voice was really cool. I don't know. I liked how she was like elegant, but like this scary presence, and you could feel it.
Is she meant to represent like Kazuya's id or something? Is Angel actually Kazuya? Is Angel secretly a middle-aged Japanese guy?
Like she's supposed to be like the group representation of his good side or whatever,
right?
And like Devil's obviously like the bad aspect of him or whatever, the bad side of him.
Right. So
I don't think Angel is like actually anything. Like, she's just a personification of Kazuya's good side, like I said. So I don't think she's actually is like a real character, you know.
Okay, she's just an angel.
I guess we don't need her in Tekken. Dang.
Yeah. She was always a weird character, wasn't she? Like, I almost like even forgot to talk about her. Like, she was in Tag 2, but nobody played her. The only thing I want to bring up about Angel is I think they reappropriated her neutral pose for Katarina, the awkward "I'm a little teapot" pose. I think they just adjusted the position a little bit. And like, yeah, it's Katarina. I still hate it, but yeah.
Yeah, I thought Angel in Tag 2, I thought Angel was the only non-viable character in the game.
Oh yeah.
Like, she had the worst movement, her electro hitbox was worse than the other Mishimas, her 1-1-2 could drop on hit, her health sweep was unsafe on hit against the wall, her fastest standing mid was 15 frame. There's just so many things wrong with the character.
Yeah.
Like, even Dr. B was better than her, Sebastian was better than her.
Oh, really?
She was easily the worst character. She was on her own tier. She was so bad.
That's interesting, because like you'd think a character with like an EWGF, and like she had 1-1-2 as well, right?
Yeah, but it could drop on hit, right? Like 1-1, and then second hit would whiff.
Oh yeah,
and
super inconsistent.
And then the 2 would get blocked. Yeah. She was just, her movement was hard. Worst backdash in the game, just 15 frame mids, everything, nothing.
Man, they really wanted it to suck, huh? Like, Celina, do you know anything about Angel? I mean,
I had no idea until you guys mentioned that.
She's an angel.
That's her name too, right?
Yeah,
she's literally.
She's just an angel. She's like the most stock generic character you can imagine. It's angel, like imagine an angel, like not the cherub, like baby angel, but it's like imagine like an angel, and that the most stereotypical image. Hold on, can someone post it into the chat, like a picture of Angel to start in there?
Oh, I got you already on it. Big bet.
Yeah, that's the Irish actress Saoirse Ronan.
Right.
She did have one thing going for her. Of all the characters that had lasers, she had the best lasers.
Oh, did she?
Hers were,
laser top tier.
Yeah, because her lasers recovered the fastest.
Oh, there we go. That's Angel in Tag 1 or Tekken 2? Tekken 2. That's Tekken 2 Angel. Tekken 2.
Yeah.
But
I got this one.
Yeah, she kind of like reminds me of Sophitia, you know, the blonde hair, the crown kind of thing.
Like, I really like the Tekken 2 version, and the Tag 1 version of that character. I'm so okay with that. Like, that was alright.
She had a trippy ending in Tekken 2, like one of the more interesting ones.
What was for a second?
Like it's really psychedelic and trippy. Maybe I'm thinking of Devil's ending, but certainly one of their endings was just like felt like the last episode of Evangelion or something. It's like it's like a peek into Kazuya's mind, or again his id like fragmenting or something.
Creepy. The kid's a little creepy. Oh.
Yeah, everyone becomes skeletons. That's right.
Ooh.
What?
She was kind of spooky there.
That's dark. I'm not gonna lie. That's really dark. Well, guess I don't like the character anymore. That's really dark. That just ruined my day. Thanks, chat. Thanks. Oh God.
She's a weird character for sure. But I don't think she's ever coming back. But I mean, possibly if Tekken 8 goes into June territory, she might have some relevance to the story. So maybe she will come back. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, please June for Tekken 8, please.
No, I definitely love to see that. I definitely love to see that. Yeah, I think that's a whole topic for another. That's 2 more podcasts right there. Like, I really want to explore what we want to see mechanically in Tekken 8 in terms of gameplay, but I also I want to do a fan fiction-y kind of what do you want to see in the Tekken 8 story. I think that's a good topic to get into. But yeah, I think that about wraps it up for Wavedash 18.
0.5 is it?
Yeah. This is a bit of a higgledy one. We got thrown out the Discord for a while. We came back, and it all came out pretty good. This is actually a really fun one. I thought.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it personally. I love talking about the waifus.
Yeah, the passion clearly came through. It was a great idea to have you on this one, Fergus. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Cuddle, Celina, Fergus, thank you so much for joining me. It was an absolute pleasure as always. Cheers.
Thanks so much for having us always.
See you all.
That was really fun.
Yeah, take care, guys. Take care.